6:27. Oh, wow. I gotta go on live here. Stay. Hi, guys. I'm live as promised. Hi, everyone. I'm live as promised. I know I was supposed to come on at 5, but I got caught up in the middle of something and I had to order a bunch of things last minute and I had to run and do that. How are y'all doing? How are you guys doing today? Make sure you guys say hi when you come into the chat room, please, so I can make sure the chat's working. Hi, y'all. Hi on TikTok. Please like and share. Like and share. Really good conversation for today. When you guys come in on YouTube, please comment. Can somebody say hi on YouTube in the chat box so I can ensure that the chat on YouTube is working? Hello, everybody. All right, let me put this down. So today is going to be a really good topic, one of my favorite topics, actually. And that is staying unbothered, which I always tell you guys to do. Keep winning. And then, of course, laughing all the way to success. You guys, the live just started like 30 seconds ago on TikTok. So please like, share, whatever it is. On YouTube, I'm still not sure if the chat is working. Can somebody comment in this chat? You can wave your hand or something like that. TikTok, I think the chat is working. If somebody can comment, that would be good because I've been having some issues with the chat box. Can somebody comment? On YouTube, you could say hi, you could wave, you could leave a heart, something so that I ensure that the chat. Okay, Zell. Okay, it's working. Okay, it's working on TikTok. Okay, good. So I wanted to speak about a really good topic today, which is staying unbothered. Staying unbothered. It can be hard sometimes. Hi, Heart of Diva. Thank you. Hi, guys. Okay, perfect. It's all coming through. Okay, wonderful. So let's talk about staying unbothered, winning, staying unbothered, winning, and laughing all the way to success. So when it comes to staying unbothered, okay, you have to understand that the higher you move up and the higher you succeed, the more people are going to try and bother you. But the people who are going to try and bother you, it's rarely going to be somebody that's on your level or above. It's always going to be somebody that's under you that is going to try to bother you, right? Because not all the times, but a lot of times, people who are on your level or above, they're not bothering you. They're not. They're not bothering you. This is why it's important to make sure that you pay attention to who is trying to distract you, who is bothering you, who is trying to distract you, who is trying to take you off your path. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be somebody who's under you. It's never going to be somebody who's on your level or above. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be somebody who's underneath you, because only people who are underneath you have the time to bother you. Okay. Gucci is not bothering Louis Vuitton. They're not shading each other. They're on the same level. Why do they need to do that? Okay. Maserati is not bothering Lamborghini. They're on the same level. Why do they need to do that? Anytime, a lot of times you're being bothered, it's because the person feels under you in some way. It can either be intellectually, it can be looks, it can be resources, it can even be anointing. You know, people can feel under you for whatever reason, right? And the good thing is to be able to clock who that person is, where they are in life, who they are, and then you're like, okay, it's normal that they would do that because people will usually, if they're under here, they want to grab onto your ankles, right? Anytime somebody's under you, they would like to grab onto your ankles. People who are shoulder to shoulder, they don't have time because they're not down here. So if they're not down here, they can't even get to your ankle because they're not down there. It's people who are down there that have the leeway and the access to grab onto the ankle. If me and you are shoulder to shoulder, I would have to stoop down to grab onto your ankles. I would have to come down from where I am to grab your ankles, right? So anyone who's trying to bring you down feels like they are lower than you in some way, okay? Feels like they're lower than you in some way. So, what I like to say about staying unbothered, okay, and continuously winning. I'm a strong believer that the best revenge is success. That's the best. Getting to a level where these people are not, they're nowhere near where you are, right? That's the goal in whatever capacity, wherever you are. Um, so keep focusing on winning and do not allow them to siphon your energy in any way and stay focused on that. The way that I see it, I've never met a triple threat woman that's tried to come after me. If it happens, the woman feels like she's less than me in some way. And it can be in any category, right? But I'm not going to leave my throne to entertain that. Chosen One's throne room this Sunday. You don't leave your seat, right? You know what you went through to get where you are. You don't leave your seat in the throne room to acknowledge a bunch of peasants. You're not supposed to do that. And what I mean by that is this. There's this Caribbean saying that says we don't put pigs on tables because they're going to dirty the table, right? Because pigs are used to rolling in mud. So a pig is a pig is a pig is a pig. You bring the pig in the house, it's not a clean animal. If there's mud or anything that looks like mud, it's going to roll in it. That's just a Caribbean saying that we have is you don't bring pigs on tables, which really just means there are certain types of people they're not really going to change. So when you bring them in, they kind of just destroy everything. So when it comes to staying unbothered, you don't want to have your energy leaking anywhere, right? And when something's bothering you, it is leaking at your energy. It's taking from you, which is why it's best to, are you Bahamian? No, I'm not. It's best to not entertain that. Now, when it comes to being unbothered, I always say if you're diving into your work, it's very easy to be unbothered that way because you're working on something. Now, one thing that I've noticed happens a lot to men and women is when you're working on something and an ex sees it, an old family member sees it, old friend sees it, they try to distract you with drama. And that's when you tell people, all right, this is a distraction. I'll follow. What did this person say? I'll follow you if you accept that a woman's only place in life is serving a man. Well, JD, I don't need you to follow me, my dear. I don't need you to follow me. So, um, I don't need to accept anything from you either. So, I guess go ahead and block me. Um, yeah, just ignore people like that. People like that are just again coming in to cause a distraction. Yeah, he just wants attention. So let's not give people who want attention attention. Just let them, go their way. So another thing with staying unbothered, I've also realized is to assess when something is coming in as a massive distractor and what you're trying to do in your life, right? Um, First of all, assess where the person is and where you are. Most likely, if they're trying to bother you, you have something that they don't have. Who knows what it could be? It could be anything, right? Um, hold on a second, you guys. One second. Mm, wait a minute, y'all. I gotta make sure. Let me check something real fast. I apologize. This is so important. One second. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, y'all. I thought that there was a old family member in my chat. So I had to make sure that that wasn't somebody from my family. I was about to block them. Um, we're all clear. We're all clear. Yeah. So I had to make sure. Sorry, you guys. If your names are popping up on the screen, I'm sorry. Thank you, D. Gerald. Okay, I just had to. Okay, oh wait. Okay, that person's shown. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't want you guys being shown on here. Okay, I think I took it off. Yes. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that wasn't an old family member on here, sneaking on here. So I had to make sure, but it's not them. Oh, you like my lip color? Thank you. So you are not black. I am a black woman. I don't understand that concept. I'm not black. Why? Because I'm Caribbean. I'm not black. I'm still a black woman. It doesn't matter. I could be Caribbean. I believe Caribbeans are still black. Like, if I fill out a form, what am I going to check? I'm going to check off black. I'm black, you know? So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, how do you have the confidence to go out alone without friends? Well, a lot of the places that I go, the people there are pretty social. Um, the people there are pretty social. So I'll kind of go and I'll talk to some of the people there. I do like how I have a very close relationship with my family. I go out pretty often, honestly. I go out, and also the career path that I have is also very social. There's always something going on. So I'm always out and about. How do you deal with a guy who wants to ruin your rep because you didn't want to? Okay, you guys, I think, wait a minute. How do you feel with a guy who wants to ruin your rep because you didn't want to date him? Stay unbothered. Stay unbothered. This whole live is about remaining unbothered. So if he wants to ruin your entire rep, it's because clearly he doesn't want people to find you valuable, because he probably discovered something valuable in you early on. And where did you meet this guy? I always tell women all the time, stop giving all these men your number. Some men don't need your number. You need to assess a man prior. How is he trying to ruin your rep? Like, were you guys friends before? You guys have to, you have to. I'm always telling women, please date men who have something to lose. Men who have something to lose don't engage in those kind of behaviors. Date men who are like working, running businesses and stuff. Please, those men don't really have time to engage in those kind of things. Where did you meet this young man? Uh huh. Talked for a month. He was acting crazy when I cut him off. You met him at law school. Okay. You talked to him for a month. Okay. Did you see any red flags in the beginning? It's probably a narcissist. Narcissists are the only ones who can't take rejection. Get yourself an internet phone. Yes, I have two internet phone numbers. I never give out my real number. Mm-mm. My real number is for like family and people that are like really close to me. I never give out my real number. His ego was hurt. Okay. His ego was hurt. Well, did you tell him any information that could be used against you? Because if you didn't tell the person anything that could be used against you, please stay unbothered. Sometimes they're trying to ruin your reputation because they want to siphon from you. But the way that I see it is God is the author, the finisher. the beginner, the finisher of your life. So it doesn't really matter what people say. When God establishes you, it doesn't matter people's smear campaigns. Thank you, Susu. It doesn't matter people say. You got to say unbothered when people do that stuff. Do you know how many people have tried to destroy my reputation throughout my life? Do you know how many people online have tried to destroy my reputation? Has my following changed? My supporters are still here. So it doesn't really matter. Thank you, Life Song Journey. It doesn't really matter. Can I have your real number? No, you can't. No, you can't. So you have to remain unbothered when smear campaign, like all of that stuff is created to distract you. Okay, so he's gonna go around and tell people what? What is he gonna tell people? The same thing. You're HOE. He'll probably lie and say you have STDs. It's the same crap that people do. It's boring. It's lame. It's so tiresome. Who cares? Go away. That is how mature people are going to respond. Like for me, the biggest turn off is when I encounter a woman trying to destroy another woman's reputation. It's like, babe, go get a job. Go get a job. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear how you feel about that woman. I don't care. We don't care. You shouldn't care. Move on. Destroying reputations, trying to make people look at another person. It's for that's like for lame people. And anybody that finds that exciting or entertaining is also lame. That's the way I see it. Like who cares? Like if someone comes to me about when it sabotages your jobs, they pay people to harm you, well then you got to find another job. Because a lot of people that are at these jobs are like literally cluster bees, anyways. Like they're going to ride the coattail. But stay unbothered because you have to understand that regardless of who sabotages what, God is still in control. God is still in control. Let me tell you, when I look at my life, if God was not in control, I would have been done a long time ago. God has always controlled my existence. So it doesn't matter what this chick says, it doesn't matter what that dude says. If God wants me to win, I win and I will win. And I'll win again and again and again and there's nothing anybody can do about it because I'm submitted under a higher power. So it doesn't matter how you feel about me. If God says she will be this, there's nothing you can do about it. And that's what men and women need to understand. You are not the God over people's lives. If you want to try to mess around with their life energetically, go ahead, take that chance if you want to. But don't be surprised about what comes back to you when you try to. So God is still in control. All those people can try and ruin your reputation and you end up the boss of them. Right. And then you fire their stupid selves and then rehire a quality staff. So it's that simple. Don't worry about it. You know, I had a situation like this with a family friend. She's a nurse and she had a cold that day when she went into work. So she called her boss. Her boss was off site. She called her boss. She said, "Listen, I have a cold. Um can I lay down in between patients to kind of regain my strength? Because you know when you have a cold and a fever, you're up for a little bit, you're down. You're up for a little bit, you're down." And they said, sure. So she took a nap, and her other RN coworkers took a picture of her taking a nap and sent it to the supervisor, right? And the supervisor did not know that the manager gave her the okay, right? So the supervisor was like, "Oh, why are you sleeping on the clock? Like something can happen with a patient." And then she told the supervisor, "No, the manager said I could. These are the messages." And then she became the boss over all those people that sent that picture in and was plotting on her. So again, God has the last say. I don't really think you should care too much about smear campaigns. If God wants you to reach up here, there's nothing anybody can do about it. So let them talk. And always remember all the people that believe the negative words. So when they try to do a U turn, you don't allow them to. All right. You're welcome. My pleasure. A dream that he spat at me, then said he hates me and he's going off on me. If you have a dream like that, that means that person doesn't really like you. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, you guys have to understand. I know smear campaigns are different. I mean, are difficult. I've been through them before. How do you deal with being provoked and reactive abuse? I would get away from that person immediately if you can. A reactive abuse is not a joke. Ha ha ha. Okay. That's the way I see it. Like you got to stay unbothered because sometimes People will promote a smear campaign to retrieve energy from you. That's another thing. We'll talk about that in the Chosen Ones Throne Rooms Masterclass this Sunday. I think I spoke about that in one of an alligator that is that you have if whenever you dream of an alligator, somebody around you is going to betray you. Chomp chomp. They're the alligator. Remember I told you guys I had that dream of a client I was working with, not YouTube related, a client I was working with, and in my dream, I remember I had this dream. I was at my parents' house in the dream because my parents have a massive pool. And in my dream, I was nobody was really in the house in my dream, and I kept hearing like roar, roar, like this roaring noise. So opened the slide door that gets to the pool, and it's like water is like splashing on the walls and water. It's a bunch of water splashing. So I'm trying to turn and get to the pool area to see what is happening out there, what's making that noise. So when I get into the pool area, it's this huge alligator, you guys. Like it wasn't a normal size alligator. The alligator was the size of the pool. The length of the tail was like the size of a car. It was a huge alligator. And I'm like, oh my God. So in my dream, I ran back into the house. And then everything stopped. The roaring stopped, the alligator noise stopped, the water stopped. And I'm like, what was that about? And in my dream, it was my client that came out the pool drenched. And he's like, oh, damn, I'm all wet. Can I get a towel, please? And I woke up and God showed me that's him. That's his true form that you just saw. That's his true form. Hmm. And the day after that dream, that client was ripping me apart every phone conversation we would have about the project. It's like he knew that I found out who he was. Okay. So when you have a dream of an alligator trying to get you, start looking at who's around you. Somebody's going to betray you. Chomp, chomp. I call back my power, and that person told me he got nightmares. Do you know why? I don't know why, but I don't know. Keep calling your power back. You call your power back every day. Dreaming of helping a crippled former friend that's not crippled in real life. Well, maybe you have to pray for them. Maybe there's going to be a car accident or something, and God's showing you that to pray for them. I do believe dreams are signs. Yes, I do. Can you please give your best advice to stay patient while waiting on your throne room season? Well, your throne room season is it's the oil. Right now you're being crushed, right? Because and I'll talk about that in the class. There's an altar inside of the throne room. So the crushing, every time you get crushed through life, things get harder and harder and harder. It's being placed on that altar. So you have to go through that and be as patient as possible. It's hard. I'm not going to tell you it's easy, but you'll understand why. Um I think that you have to understand that there's two realities going on at the same time, the 3D and the 4D, right? So you kind of have to, in a way, morph your mind into seeing your reality in two dimensions. So if someone's trying to bother you and provoke you, you have to see that as there's a spirit operating behind that person. If someone's trying to make you feel bad by their words, slander, oh, wow. Why does this always happen with my TikTok? I already did that. Can you guys still see me on here on TikTok, or am I frozen? What's that about? Broke shoes dream? I don't know, y'all. You guys have to write down your dreams. I don't recommend going to dream websites to search up dreams. Mm-mm. I don't go to dream websites to search up dreams. I decode them myself. I never visit dream sites. I have to decode it myself because we're all different people. We're all having a different spiritual experience. So you can't really say, hey, I saw a shoe in my dream. What does that mean? That shoe can represent anything. Can I what? Repeat what I was saying. What was I saying? Yep, dreams are always a sign. So that's the thing. That's another reason to also stay unbothered is you're going to find out what's going on anyways. You're going to dream about it. That's why when you understand how life works, this physical realm and the spiritual realm combined, you are going to be so excited to go to sleep because you're going to see everything in your dream. Everything will be shown to you. So there's really no confusion. There's no confusion. Where's the confusion coming from? There is no confusion. What are a dream about mosquitoes? I can't interpret you guys' dreams all the time. You have to try and do it yourself. And you can. Anybody can be a dream interpreter if you focus enough. Yeah, some people that is their gift, but you can do it. You just got to want to, right? And then that's the thing. If you are unbothered, you will be okay. So what I was saying is I don't want to say too much because when I come on here and talk, people try taking my talking points. Um, let's just say that what you're going through, you need it. It's required for you to get into that room. So it's like you kind of have to. Because if you don't, the size of the room won't be as large. That's what I mean by that. Is the music still playing? I don't really hear it. Oh wow, it's pretty low. Wait. Uh, y'all didn't tell me. Okay, there we go. Where's my music, man? I need my music. Okay. Do you guys hear it now? It's usually doesn't transfer to TikTok. It usually doesn't transfer there. You're in my dreams. What does that mean? A lot of people tell me that I'm in their dreams. Maybe because you listen to me a lot, maybe because in some way you feel connected to me. It could be many things. I have people tell me, "Yeah, you were in my dream. You unlocked this for me, or you were in my dream and we were doing this together." Like I get those emails all the time. I don't know what they mean, guys. Hi, Mel. I'm the only Black girl in a PhD program. Yikes. And the other female students have started spreading rumors about me to make me seem mean. Yeah, it's the angry Black girl. Listen, it's the same pattern. They're going to call you mean, angry, aggressive. I bet you're introverted, right? You're introverted, you mind your business. They feel entitled to you as a Black woman. You're not giving them their entitlement. And now they are saying that you're a mean girl. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? Do you need them to pass the program? Baby, when I was taking classes, I don't talk to nobody in there unless it's about I would get the phone number of I would spot who looks like the sharpest person in the class and I'd get their number. And that's it. Like you're not in class to make friends. You're in class to pass the course. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You don't want to be stressing yourself out because you need to study. You want to have a balanced mind so you can study. Yeah, Syrian, I noticed that. You are replying to things from like 30 minutes ago. I know I noticed that. I'm like, okay. Syrian just started the video. Okay. I wouldn't worry about listen, you guys gotta listen. When you go in class, you're there to pass the class. You're not there to make friends. You know, spot the smartest student in the class, sit next to them, become cool with your professor, go to the hours, and then just I had a dream about you months ago, Mel, and it was a premonition. I don't know why people have dreams of me like in that kind of context. It's so strange. If I was to show you guys my inbox, the amount of people telling me like they have had these type of premonition style dreams and I'm in there, I'm like, why is my spirit traveling and doing that? Because I don't know. I don't know, but I get that a lot. I have so many people that email me about that, and I'm like, "You saw me?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's interesting." You have a strong presence. Yeah, I think that's it too. I think it's the presence. Mhm. We need to be on your Zoom. What Zoom? The class this Sunday? You guys, there's a class this Sunday. Who I think a few people I think was Syrian on Chosen One Pathways? I think Syrian was on that. I had a couple people on that class. That class was good. Um, yeah, you can't let everything get to you. Remember, anytime someone is bringing you down, it's because they feel like they're beneath you. It could be that they feel like you're smarter than them. It could be like they feel like you survived something that they didn't survive. Like, you have to understand that nobody who is at your level is going to pull you down. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if somebody that is higher than you is pulling you down, it's because they are threatened by something that you have. That's it. LOL, on your Zoom is young people slang. No way. Oh my God. Oh my God. I feel like I'm getting old. On your Zoom is young people slang. Well, how old is he? 17? I've never heard of that before. Get on your Zoom. I've never heard of that before. I've heard of get on your ish. Get on your Zoom. That's a new one. That. I've never heard of that, y'all. I'm literally sitting here going, what Zoom? With the Zoom call? I thought he was talking about a Zoom call. I didn't know that that was like a, y'all, I just embarrassed myself. I just embarrassed myself. That's fine. It's from the Corona time. Y'all, I thought he was talking about a Zoom class. That is funny. When people wear on Zoom a lot, get on your Zoom. People were on Zoom a lot. I don't think I'm understanding. I don't understand. But I'm just not going to say anything else in regards to that so I don't embarrass myself. But I don't understand. Um, you look youthful regardless. Oh, thank you, babes. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of that. And I'm pretty hip to the game. I'm pretty hip to the game. I've never heard of that. Oh, the throne room class. Yeah, it's this Sunday. It's gonna be good. So yes, you gotta learn how to stay unbothered, honestly. Like, I feel like it's hard sometimes, but some people just want to take your energy from you, and eventually they're going to stop because it's not changing anything. You're so happy with your life. I barely ate anything today. I'm kind of hungry. To urge someone, divert their attention. I'm a 90s kid. There's no such slang. Don't trip about it. Love the way you carry yourself. Your energy is contagious. Thank you, babes. So I guess I'm not the only one. I'm not the grandma on the chat because I didn't even understand what he meant by that. Y'all, I don't know. A lot of the things that's going on, I don't know. I just sit down and I listen to my Sade all day. I do like Mariah the Scientist. I like her. I do like her. She's great. Caliuchis. Love Caliuchis. And I'm just chilling, y'all. I'm chilling. What do you guys have going on? Uh-huh. So staying unbothered, you guys, again, anybody who is bothering you feels like they are less than you. They feel like they're less than you. I'm telling you. They want to pull you by the ankles. No, man. If they're on your level, they're not doing that. They're not spending their time doing that. For what? For what? And then it also comes to maturity. Like, for example, I have a mutual on my TikTok. She does level up content, right? And I used to always watch her content before I would get on YouTube. But her level up content is more like dating. And she has like maybe like 2 million followers, 1 million or 2 million or 1.5, something like that. And when I went on her page, because I like her content, I saw the follow back button. I'm like, She's following me. And I had a little miniature fangirl moment. I had a little miniature. I'm like, oh my God, how long has she been following me? I did not know this. So I quickly hit follow back. And y'all, I never started subbing her. I never started subbing her. Like, I think that women and men who do stuff like that are miserable. You're miserable. I've never started subbing her, and she has almost 2 million followers. Like, why would I do that? And yes, we are both in the level up space, but why would I do that? Like, that's so weird to me. If anything, I admire her work and I admire what she does. And that's it, right? So people like even your family, like family members who bother you or things like that, trying to confuse you as you're in school to get your education, it's because they feel bad that they couldn't do the same. So don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. They ask you, how are you confident because you're short? What does short have to do with confidence? What does being short? I'm 5 feet. So what does that say about me? Oh, it's your younger brother that's jealous? Oh well. Again, if God wants to do something in your life, it doesn't matter how people feel, it's gonna get done. So it doesn't matter. There's nothing they can do about it. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it. People who shade you, sub you in the workplace, your family, stay unbothered. It's because they feel less than you in some capacity. And they're just reacting to it by trying to see how they could bring you down. I wouldn't worry about it. You guys, I am going to pause this for a second because I need to charge my phone. How do I do that? Oh, there we go. Y'all, I'm like really getting bad at learning how to hold on, you guys. Can people hear me? Can you guys tell me, can you hear me while I'm paused or no? Can you guys still hear me? Does it just block off my face? Or can you actually hear me? I think you guys can hear me. Oh man. How do I? Oh gosh. Ah, all right. Is it charging? Yes. Okay. Sorry guys. It's going to be from this angle because this stand, my phone is charging on a stand. So it's like not letting me. Sorry guys. I know this is a weird angle. Let me see if I can like fix myself. Well, let me see. Is it better? No, that looks worse. Okay, we'll just have to do like this for a little bit. Okay, what if they try to harass you with fake profiles? Block the fake profile and the smear campaign. Well, how bad does a smear campaign look? Plug the charger. Yeah, I know. Even if I do that, my phone it's on a stand. So when I put the charger in, it flips the stand a little bit and everything looks crooked. But I don't have a choice because my phone is like, barely ever has charge. People who shade you anywhere are childish and insecure. Exactly. Like, thank you, Julene. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. I think that yes, Nora. What would you like advice from? Let me know. Let the chat know. We'll do our best to help you. We'll do our best to help you. What do you need advice on? Try to keep it clear and concise. Okay, just went through this at work. A coworker was so aggressive about being my friend, like literally blowing up my phone out of work. Then when I opened out, I guess you mean up. When I opened up about something, they started the weirdness. What did you open up about? Was it something that you were doing? What tips can you give when someone you are being criticized for being overweight and unemployed? So somebody was criticizing you for being overweight and unemployed. I would get away from that person. Who wants to be friends with someone that makes fun of your weight and the fact that you're going through hard times? That's not a friend. I like your nails and curls. Thank you. I did This is just clear and 2 coats of Funny Bunny. I don't like them that much, but thank you. I prefer to get full color. What if it's family? I would divest. How old are you? What are the best ways to celebrate your success in private with your loved ones? I like the look strong jaw. Thank you. I do have a pretty sturdy jaw, don't I? Beautiful woman, strong jaw. Thank you. I appreciate that. About my family issues. What's going on? Oh, you talked to her about your family issues. Okay. What did she say? Oh, you're 48? Yeah, I would bounce. Do you live with them? I would bounce. Toxic family at 48? Child, please. No way. It's time to start enjoying life. I'd leave them behind. The amount of times I have to check women is annoying. They always ask me if my hair real, questions about my husband, why I don't work, my EV. What is my EV? They're invasive. I don't ask rude questions. Um, where are you meeting these women? I love the makeup. Thank you, dear. Um, electric video. Oh, okay. EV. Oh gosh, you guys are gonna have to keep helping me with the slang. Electric vehicle. Okay. Um, honestly, I would just get away from women like that. You know, if they're trying to get in your life and find out every little thing about you, it's given obsession. Oftentimes, I get really nervous about being seen or conscious about commenting. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like TikTok feels left out. Let me move you in a little. Oftentimes, I get nervous about being seen or conscious about commenting, but I'm starting to not care anymore. I'm trying to let go of my ego. Having a strong ego is tiresome. Okay. There is someone that is interested in me okay, wait. There is someone that is interested in me and I don't. They have access to private information and they can enter my house as they work for the company I rent. I don't understand. Okay, someone's interested in you. You're not interested in them. But I'm guessing they work for your condominium and they're able to access your apartment whenever they want. Is that what you mean? I would get cameras and I would change my locks. Or I would explain it to the board, to the association. Every condominium has an association. And I would tell them I don't feel safe. Can you switch my unit out to a different unit that's available? That's what I would say. I'd like to learn to avoid intrusive questions, very rude questions, from eyelashes to hair to makeup. Yeah, I think it's all about your mannerisms. I think that for me, the more questions someone asks me, the shorter my answers get. And then they realize, okay, she probably doesn't want to talk about this. That's what I would do. Yeah, you should have cameras everywhere. I have cameras in my car. I have cameras in every corner of my house. I have cameras inside my home. I have cameras everywhere, baby. I have cameras everywhere. I make sure my information is not on the internet. Even when I had to file my LLC, it was a freaking mission. Because when I was talking to my lawyer, I was telling him I don't want anything under my name. Like a lot of weird women online, it's like they're obsessed and they don't want to leave me alone. And they're constantly trying to dig into my life. So I asked my attorney, I said, how can we file this? And I don't want it under me. I'll put it under a trust or something, but I don't want anything business wise under my name because they're going to start bothering me, bothering my family, and I don't have time for that. So, what do we do? So, you always have to be on game because your livelihood is up to you. You're responsible to keep yourself safe. Did you guys hear about that girl on Threads that said that her exes, wait, no, this guy she was dating, She didn't know that he also had a girlfriend or something like that. So she got triangulated. And she went over there to meet up with the girl just to talk about it. She thought they were going to talk about it. And the girl punched her in her jaw and dislocated her jaw. And it's like safety, protection, privacy. You find out there's another woman in the picture, let her have him. Let her have him. Now you got a dislocated jaw over what? A man? Please. No. It's nice to have your own business. Nobody bothers you. No, people can still bother you when you have your own business. Your clients can bother you. Stalkers will try to plant their flying monkeys to book with you. No, you still deal with things. You still deal with things on a different scale. I want to be online, but tired of the current warfare and know it will cause more warfare. Any advice? My advice is to stop being afraid of everything. You're giving people too much power. I'm online every day. And yes, I'm doing my due diligence, but I always believe that God is my protector. God will not let anything happen to me. Right? And if something does happen, it's because it was my time. God will not let anything happen to me. I walk with God at all times. That's my mentality. Nobody can touch me unless God says they can. So I don't live my life in fear. I don't have a spirit of fear. I don't live like that. It takes the zest out of life. If you believe that there is a God on his throne that's watching you, why are you scared? I believe that I could walk into a pure lion's den and walk out without a scratch. And if there is a scratch, it was my time. That's the way my mind works. I tell God that all the time. I'm like, God, nobody can touch me unless you tell them they're allowed to. The only person that can touch me is God. That's it. That's the way my mind works. Nobody has dominion over me unless it's God. So because I think that way, it stirs up my confidence to be unbothered, to put myself out there as much as I can. And God is my protector. And if anything happens, that was my time. That's my mentality. Because when you think about it, a lot of times you're just playing yourself out of good opportunities when you keep hiding. Yeah, people are going to talk about you. You go online, people will dig into your life. Like it's going to happen. But hey, that's what comes with the territory. Mhm. You guys have to have a little bit more confidence in God's power and stay unbothered. It's like people are going to come, the attacks are going to come. People are going to attack you and say whatever. Don't worry about it. Sneaky, jealous women really good at faking it. Faking what? You got to renew your mind. And that's the way that you have to see it. Like, always be willing to take a second chance. Always be willing to, what are people going to do? Lie, talk about you, lie about you. It's, it doesn't do anything. It's like whatever. Fake, faking being real, faking their confidence. Oh, so you said women fake being real and faking their confidence. Um, well, yeah, I mean, it's cosplaying. Jadas, I was depressed. Who's Jadis? Bring, bring good at faking being genuine to gain trust. Oh, that's the female narcissist. That's the female narcissist. The female narcissist that's why a lot of people tell me, who do you like? Share who are your faves, who are your mutuals. People ask me, share, who you recommend. I never do that because, I don't know them personally to do that. But If you're dealing with a female narcissist, she's going to fake everything to get into your gates. But the way to combat that is one, use your spirit, right? Pay attention to your dreams. And the second thing is the minute she shades you, which she will, even if it's backhanded, get rid of her. How do you get of a depression state or if you're feeling down? I think you should probably find a therapist. I'm only 21 and I feel so overwhelmed with life. Yeah, I would go to therapy and ask yourself, where is that? Also, ask yourself, where is that stemming from? Is it environmental? My issue is the probing. Oh, when the woman starts asking you a bunch of questions. Well, who are you experiencing that from? Like, you guys got to sometimes ask for silent appointments. Being better, doing better, letting go of strongholds. Exactly. It's hard when you were raised by a female narcissist. Oh, yeah. I have a lot of female narcissists in my family, too. Honestly, I have a lot of female narcissists in my family, and I'm going to say something. You know what? No, I'm not going to say it. If I say it's probably going to be received in an offensive way, so I'm not going to say it. Just something I observed, but I'm not going to say it. It's going to cause too much chaos. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Just something I've observed throughout my life. As a Caribbean, I feel like a lot of Caribbean people are narcissistic, especially the women. I'm noticing that trend about it. So I think, I hate to say it, there's a content creator that talks about this all the time online. There's just particular groups of people that have higher levels of narcissism than others. Let's just say it that way. It's culture, I believe. Many people in Black communities, that's actually what I was going to piggyback on. Yeah, that's massive. It's I hate to say that, it's a big problem in the African American community, the narcissism stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I already said that all of those unaliving threats that I get in my email come from Black women. I always say that because sometimes I copy and paste the email and I see their LinkedIn. It's always coming from a Black woman. I'm like, why is this the only demographic that hates me to that extent where you're sending threats? Why? Why aren't other demographics going that far? It's narcissism. It's deep hatred. It's anger. It's resentment. It's hatefulness. And again, it's not a surprise because I'm Caribbean. So I saw this with the Caribbean women in my family. They're very hateful. So it's a massive problem that a lot of people are not speaking on. And that's just what it is. That's just what I've seen. It's internalized racism. Yes, being racist against other women that look like you. I always tell, even online with the content creators, I always tell them, why don't you come at the white girls and the Spanish girls? Why are you hyper focused on me? Because you were taught to go after what looks like you. You were taught that. That's a Black woman. This white woman and Spanish woman is doing the same thing, but I'm going to go after the Black woman. It's always usually Black women online that are attacking me. It's never other races ever. You'll never come across it. Never. It's narcissism. That's what it is. That's what I've seen. I see it in Caribbean families. The women in my Caribbean family are narcissistic sociopaths, all of them. They harm children if they have to. If they have a problem with you, they will harm your kid. Yes, they will. That's the way they get down. So that's just what I've seen. I'm not going to apologize for what I've seen. It's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that needs to be debunked because it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. I do believe that a lot of us are behind socioeconomically. It destroyed my confidence. My aunts and grandmothers, Caribbean moms. Oh, yeah, a lot of Caribbean moms are narcissists. Oh, God. They are mean, mean, especially to their daughters. They are mean to their daughters and they worship their sons. It's bad. It's bad. Oh, yeah. I know what I'm talking about. It's heavy with white people too. They're covert narcissists. But I think the difference is the need for people in the black community to want to attack people that look like them. Like, you won't let people that look like you progress, but you'll let people who don't look like you progress. Can you explain that to me? Because the white community is going to keep their progression in house. They're not going to really try to stop the other white man or white women progressing. That's our community that does that. That's our community that does that. So it's a lot of crab in the barrel. It's cognitive dissonance. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. And it starts at home with your mom, with your dad, with your aunts, with your uncles. It starts with them, being angry that you're progressing. Like, it starts with your people in your house, and you can't let that stuff bother you because you got to keep going. Like ruining your daughter's graduation. I have some women that call me about stuff like that. Their mom ruined their graduation, or there was a time one of my cousins got married a couple years ago. Yeah, they want to be the only ones to progress. Yeah, the minute they spot somebody who looks like them is getting ahead, they got to do something to destroy. They're going to destroy. So that's what I'm talking about. I remember I had a cousin of mine that got married in 2020. And this is when I was still talking to my family. And her mother-in-law is also Caribbean. And her mother-in-law called her and said, okay, what cake do you want for your wedding dinner? And she said, oh, I'd like vanilla. Right? You want to know, her mother-in-law brought her chocolate? And I'm like, why would she do that? Why would she do that? But it's that hatred. That's what I'm talking about. That's it right there. We don't like to talk about it. When I talk about it, here comes the anti-black allegations, but I have to tell you what I see. It's true. I see it all the time. It's very prominent. And I'm like, why would she do that on your wedding shower? Like, what is her problem? Mothers hating it's true. We're not going to sit here and say it's not true. It's true. It's awful. I'm like, why would she do that to you? It's not only black attacking black, it's also Indians attacking Indians. I've heard that about Indian culture too. I got to learn about that. I'm always open to learning about different races and, different, people that have different cultures. I always want to learn. So please let me know. It's your experience. You want to bring awareness. Please continue to discuss it. I have learned to say less with my Islander mom. Oh, island moms do not allow you to tell them what they did wrong. That's how you lose your teeth. That's how bad the narcissism is in Caribbean culture. Like, if you even tell them what they did wrong, you're going to get smacked. Like, they literally raise you to accept abuse. Like, they normalize it. That's Caribbean culture. You're not allowed to say, hey, that hurt me. Or if you tell them that something hurt you, they're going to gaslight you and say, what do you mean something hurt you? I give you food and clothes and shelter. Like, it's straight narcissism. A lot of undiagnosed personality disorders in the Black community. Yes. Bipolar, exactly. Yes. My daughter's father is Jamaican. His mom is a huge enabler of his abusive behavior. Well, they praise their sons in Caribbean culture. In Caribbean culture, the son always gets praise. People think they're better than everyone else. Oh my goodness, Indian moms and moms-in-law are so mean. Yes, my BFF mom was mean. My Jamaican stepmom. I still think it's interesting how we label ourselves colors. My mom has her moments though. I just let her talk. It's awful. They call it a fight down mentality or bad mind in the Caribbean. Really? What does bad mind mean? My island mom has selective amnesia. No, that's Caribbean culture. When they hurt you, they act like they don't remember. And then they yell at you for bringing up the receipts. Well, actually, you'll get beat up for bringing up the receipts, though. That's Caribbean culture. You don't ever give the proof that the Caribbean parent is lying. Are they going to beat you up for that? I'm just telling you. I'm Caribbean. I know what I'm talking about. That's how it is in Caribbean culture. You're not really supposed to be telling anybody what they did wrong. That's not how it works. Um, that's how it works in the culture. That's why you end up like getting away from that. Spiritual whistleblower talks about narcissists often, made me realize how many narcissists I had around me. Yeah, that's true. That's why it's hard for me being pro anything now. I'm more Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's like having schizophrenia. Unfortunately, it's like when the family attacks family but shows love to strangers. That is how it is too with narcissistic family. A lot of Black women are narcissistic. Yes, they are. Absolutely. 1,000%. Look at the way they attack other Black women. It's scary. It's very, very scary. That is very true. I second that. They want us to suffer like them in the sexual competition with the younger women in the family. Yes, I have this issue with my mother. No contact is the best way. I'm having Nigerian, Caribbean, and Black American. Families will sometimes bring you down. She thought because I was London, I was going to be white. The second she realized I was Black and met me, she started shading me. Was this another Black woman that did this to you? She thought because I was London, I was going to be white. What do you mean, London? You mean you're from London? She thought because I was London, I was going to be white. The second she realized I was Black and met me, she started shading me. A lot of times Black women do that to other Black women. It's like they keep the abuse in house. So if you were another race, she wouldn't come at you like that. It's because you're both Black. It's the narcissism that I talk about. I just live with grace. I'm not innocent. All the things I've done in life, I don't play victim. Good. Trinidad, same thing. Oh, yeah. Martinique too, St. Thomas, all that. It's like that. It's across the board. That's why I always say to you guys, I'm not telling you to dismiss what they do or not take it seriously. But one thing I'm always going to say is, as a Caribbean myself, you got to let that stuff roll off your shoulders. Don't let them destroy your life. That's the way that they are. I'm telling you. They're not going to take accountability for anything. They're going to lie. If you bring up the receipts, they're going to get mad. You got to just leave them alone. Divest, stay focused, become successful, stay away, leave them alone. That's it. They're not going to change. There was a story recently that a Mexican mother, I did that story, Kyla. I've had to learn how to apologize and not just start back speaking or saying want something from the store. Oh no, that's another thing in Caribbean culture. You have to apologize for them, although they did something wrong to you. That's the culture. The victim apologizes to the perpetrator. That's Caribbean culture. The victim has to apologize to the perpetrator. That's Caribbean culture. The victim finds, because what they do is they do something harmful to you, because that's how narcissists are. They do something harmful to you. It hurts you. They get mad at you for being hurt at what they do to you. They give you the cold shoulder, or they stop talking to you and you feel guilty and you're like, oh gosh, they're not talking to me. Let me just apologize or start talking to them. Once I realized these cycles, especially in the Caribbean culture, just really a lot of times in like African American culture, it's a lot of narcissism. Actually, you know what? Let me look that up really fast. What ethnicity has the highest rate of narcissism? Of narcissism. I wonder if they did a study on this and what gender too. Recent studies suggest that narcissistic traits are not limited. Other research has pointed to higher self-reported narcissism in Black Americans compared to white Americans, potentially as a protective response to stigmas. Top countries, cultural context. While individualistic cultures are often linked to higher narcissism, this recent study found high levels of several collective group-oriented societies. What country has the highest level? At what age does narcissism peak? 18 to their 20s. Okay. I'm going to try to do a study on that to find out. What is this thing here? Okay. Is it the East African culture also to apologize to the perpetrator? That's Caribbean culture. The victim apologizes to the perpetrator. That's how it works. And once I started to notice this very narcissistic cycle as a Caribbean woman, I said, you know what? If you disrespect me, I'm not apologizing to you. So we don't ever have to speak again because I'm not apologizing. I don't apologize to anybody that came for me. So we're just never going to speak again. I don't care. I don't care. Just go away. And when I became an adult, that's just how I started dealing with them. We're not going to play this game where you attack and then you go silent and the person you attack, get out of my face. It's not happening. Once I got older, I said, I'm not dealing with that anymore. Please go away. In the Indian culture, if you're darker skinned, they discriminate. Oh, there's colorism in India. I've heard of that. There's a video going around on social media of two Indian women fighting. Like one of the women kept slapping the other woman and she just stood there. How can you stop this huge narcissistic culture? Dodge it. Raise your kids to be mindful of their actions towards other people. They allow abuse to continue for the sake of peace. Exactly. Even the Christian content creators. Oh gosh, I don't go into that sector. I have my Children of the Light channel. That's what I do. That's my contribution to the kingdom. But I don't collaborate with other people in that community because there's a lot of Christian narcissists. This as high narcissism levels in the Christian community. It's highly performative. Some of the women online that say the most disgusting things about me are Christian women, by the way. Just look at their comment section. Look when my name pops up in their comment section, what they say. There was one content creator that was literally shredding me, like talking about my looks, my body, my face, shredding me. And this is a Christian content creator. I don't do collaborations with anybody in that community. I'm sorry. I've learned so much about them from the time I was a little girl. It's awful. That's another group that has high levels of narcissism. And they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to acknowledge it, but they do. High narcissism levels. High. Can you talk about scapegoat? I have a video on that. There's a surge of the Indian community in Canada. With all this narcissism, is that why Black women are deleting faster and younger? I think so. I think we've allowed it to get out of control. We've allowed it to get out of control. So again, like I said, with the female jealousy stuff, in 2024, what did I say? More women are going to be unaliving other women because we don't talk about female jealousy. We bring it under the rug. And anytime a woman speaks about it, you say she's a sociopath. I said, eventually, you're going to see what's going to happen. And that's what's been happening in 2026. The lady that unalived her daughter-in-law, the girl that got ran over by the other girl, the girl in Trinidad. Hello? Okay. The girl that was unalived in Trinidad, like, it's happening everywhere. You have to bow down to them. Yeah. It's just like that. It's literally, hold on, you guys, give me a second. Let me call this person back. They've been calling me like crazy. Hold on, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm back. I had to pick that up. All right. Will not be a narcissist supply an older Caribbean woman. Yes, I'm from London. Yeah, the minute they find out, it's like that. It can be similar in indigenous cultures. Narcissism being tied to internal racism is a great point. It's like they want us psychologically enslaved since we have surpassed them physically and socially. I think narcissism was created by white people Mel, the Tyler situation video you did was good. In my opinion, she must have a lot of women praying against her success. It's possible. I found it's been so important to take care of yourself in every way. These narcissists are everywhere, especially our own people, and will try to tear you down. Yes. Yes. And again, I think all of this comes back to your upbringing. Like, how did you raise your daughter as a Black parent, because I'm a Black woman? How did you raise your daughter to feel comfortable enough to threaten a woman's life or put her hands on a woman because she feels triggered by them? That stuff is taught. You teach your daughter to be that way. It comes from the mother. It comes from the women that was around that young girl when she was little that told her, when a woman triggers you, this is how you do her. This is how you do her. I blame the Black mothers that raise their daughters that way. To feel like you need to harm a woman, you taught her that that was okay. Because where did she pick that up from? Where did she pick that up from? Where did she gain the insight that that's the way you handle things? You have a problem with this woman, threaten her existence. She learned that from you. It's taught. It's taught. That's why I believe in integration. What does that mean? Having your children go around other cultures so they can see what's healthy. Have them go around other cultures of women that don't get physical when they get angry. Let them see that so they can see how dysfunctional it is within their culture. That's why it's important to be integrating. The same thing applies to the idolization of Caucasians. The situation with the Danish deception. Why would a Black Nigerian families invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into a white man's business? Is because they idolize Caucasian people. Why? Because they've never been around them. So in African American culture, we don't push integration. We say, no, this person has to be in this area with only Black people. This person has to go to this school with only Black people. And when you raise your children that way, they idolize Caucasians. If her family was used to being around other cultures, they would not allow the Caucasian man to scam them out of their money. It's because they felt like he was a god of some sort. I say I was raised very integrated. My high school, majority Persians, Israeli, Jewish, a few Argentinians, whites, and the smallest percentage was Black. And then other, like Asian. So I don't idolize other races because I'm always around them. So I'm not gonna max out my credit card on you because I feel like, oh my God, this is a white guy. I have to give him all my money. Because I wasn't raised like that. That's why integration is important. If she and her family was integrated with other races, a Caucasian man would not be able to come in and con all of them out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's why the comment section said, if the Danish deception girl was dating a Black man, they would not give him hundreds and thousands of dollars. It's because they idolize other races. Why? Because they've never integrated. Yes. When you're around all cultures, you don't idolize anybody. I tell people all the time, when I was growing up, I was a couple of houses down from a synagogue. Jewish people everywhere. So I don't idolize or feel lesser than. I don't, because I was raised to be integrated. Look at what happened to Shannon Sharp. Again, idolization of another race because you were not integrated around them. So when you meet them, this also goes back to, I hate to say it, a lot of Black men's obsession with other races. You were never going to school with a bunch of white and Hispanic girls. You were never around them. So now as an adult that you're around them, you feel like they're like the golden ticket. But if you were around them all the time as a kid, around them and Black women, you would not see this massive distinction. Your brain wouldn't process it that way. That's why integrating is important, so that you don't turn into a Danish deception girl where you allow a guy to come in and con your whole family just because he has blue eyes. It's very important. I don't know why we push that. I always push, if you have a daughter or a son, let them go out there and experience different cultures so they can see. I was having this conversation on my Bronze Babe Survival Tribe. That's a group that I have on my Patreon, where I said, when I started getting around other races of people and having friends in high school and college and being around their family, I noticed that in the white community, the white parents mind their business, meaning they don't talk about extended families' kids, right? And then I had that conversation with my parents. I'm like, why are you guys always commenting on my cousins? That, that's not normal, right? Their parents are in charge of their moves, because in Caribbean culture, everybody's talking about each other's kids. And I told my parents, that's not normal behavior. That's not. Every parent is responsible solely for their children. You're not supposed to be gossiping about your sister's daughter or gossiping about your brother's son. That's not normal. And they were like, you know what? That is right. We're going to mind our business moving forward. And ever since then, when people would call my parents about their kids, my parents would say, that's not our business. We don't want to get involved. Because I was around other cultures, I saw that it's healthy to not involve yourself in other people's kids' lives, and you end up bullying, you and your sister are bullying your sister's daughter. Like, that's not cool at all. You know what I mean? So, IMO, if you are white, you have to actively fight to not be racist. Really? Well, it's kind of passed down, because since birth you were told by every society in the entire world that you are better than everyone. Really? So I would like to hear a little bit about that. So basically, as a child, when you're raised, they're telling you you're better than everybody. Like, is that what the verbiage is? That's a strange way to do things. The comparison in Caribbean culture is crazy. Trying to put us in competition. Very, very common. Very, very common. The youngins are like competing against the other youngins in the family. It's so toxic. It's just, I forgot about that. That's another can of worms. That is a massive part of Caribbean culture as well. I've experienced that. That's true. I came to you for advice before and you gave me good advice. Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Can you email me with a review? I love how direct you are in a loving way. Yes, yes. I have to be. I have to be. I have to be. I'm very, it's really all love, but you have to be honest in order for people to get to the next level. Narcissism is demonic possession. Lower level entities reside in them. They lack empathy. It's harder for those entities to hijack empathetic vessels because the Holy Spirit resides in them. That's true. That's true. White and European cultures are one of the few cultures that mind their business. Yeah, Europeans mind their business. That's for sure. Russians, they're all about their work. Minorities don't, and I hate that. That is very true. That's true. It's true. But again, you can always learn about these things over time. This is so insightful. As a gay Black man that's doing well financially in San Diego, I stand out like crazy and people don't want you to have your spot. Dang. So tell me a little bit about that. So I feel like we were talking about staying unbothered, but now this is turning into a cultural conversation. And honestly, you guys, I love cultural conversations because that's how we all learn. And then by learning off of each other's cultures, we can kind of take the good from each culture, right? So he said, as a gay Black man doing well financially in San Diego, I stand out like crazy and people don't want me to have my spot. So let's get into that. What ethnicities make up San Diego? And who are the ones that don't want you to have your spot? Let's dissect that a little bit. And are you moving in silence? Who is your circle? Thank you, Toy. That's a very, oh, Toy Story. Is your name actually Toy? I love that name. Toi, Toy. I love that. I've never heard of that before. I'm from San Diego, and it's most likely white and Latino. So that's in California, right? Um, yeah, I want to hear what Devin has to say. I'm very interested in hearing that. That's different because I've never been to San Diego, so I don't know how it is over there. Do you recommend a one-on-one or a Zoom class? Well, on the Zoom classes, you guys do have the opportunity to ask your questions, but a one-on-one is of course more personable with me because you get to talk to me for an hour and we get to like kind of exchange. I love you so much. Thank you. Love you. You were born on Christmas. Christmas, baby. Beautiful. All right. All right, saw the video you did about not letting people from your past who hurt you come back into your life again. Who the hell would want to go back to a high school reunion? Right? When I literally got the request on my page from like the high school reunion on Instagram, I blocked that page so fast. Why would I want to go to that? Y'all, I blocked that page in like a blink of an eye. Okay. In Africa, on culture, family feels entitled to your success and money. It's like that in Caribbean culture too. Um, to be honest with you, no one in their right mind or classified high demand. We go and date a low earning black man, and the ones that is usually the ones that go outcasted from their own race. I don't understand what I just read. Does anybody understand that? They get mad at you for being hurt by what they did to you. You give great advice. Thank you. I'm still waiting to, was it Devin? I'm waiting to hear what he has to say. That's really interesting. I like to learn about different places and different cultures. Hi, India. I like to learn about different places and different cultures. But that's something that I think you all should embark on in the Bronze Babe tribe. I always tell all the ladies in there, the black ladies in there, I always tell them, please integrate, learn about different things, live in new places, you know, try to learn about new cultures and see what you can gain from them. Because every culture is really different, and and they all have their good and their bad. Like for Caribbeans are very like really good hospitality. So if you come to our house, we're cooking for you, we're cooking fresh food, we're gonna fry plantains for you. We're going to fry salmon for you. We're going to fry tilapia for you. We're going to make you some fresh lemon juice. Like Caribbeans, we're really big on, we don't want you leaving our house hungry. So we make sure that we cook for you when you come over. We're very homely. So yeah. Yes, I just got my brand new car. Now people are asking me for money. Okay, so here's what Devin is saying. I work a remote job and live in a nice area, an apartment, and I'm in my 20s. I don't have trouble when it comes to dating other races, but I deal with passive aggressiveness from Mexicans. Hmm. What do you guys think that's about? Is there any Mexicans in the chat that can tell Devin why this may be happening? Okay, how do you give amazing advice? Love the culture combo for sure. You're welcome. 1 second, you guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry. Oh, I gotta resume it first. Okay, so I feel like my phone is like warm. What causes that? All right. It gets exhausting to get into people's business. How could you recommend to protect your peace and not allowing your people to get in? So how do you not get in people's business? Really just listen and don't say anything back until they realize you're not listening. Yes, I feel like Mexicans are racist towards people. It has to do with colorism. I don't know. I don't have much experience with racism. I mean, not racism, sorry, with Mexicans. But I think every culture has colorism and racism to a certain extent. It's just different depending on who. The good kids in Caribbean culture end up being emotionally drained by masking their true emotions. Yeah, so I'm Caribbean. In Caribbean culture, you're not allowed to express yourself like that, or you're going to get smacked. It's hard to just be open about the way you feel because you're going to get gaslit immediately. And also in Caribbean cultures, the elders get together and they like bully the person that's expressing their feelings. It's wild. Like the elders will all like be arm to arm to like bully the child that is expressing the way they feel. And they'll say, "You're ungrateful with all the sacrifices your dad made for you, with all the sacrifices your mother made for you. They should have got rid of you." Like it turns into that. I'm telling you. That's how they get down. And as you get older, you're just like, okay, it looks like they're all like this. So you can't even take it personal. They're all like that. I went on a date with an Indian guy and he kept stating other POC. What does that mean? Making friends and in my work meetings, people, I make more than most my other remote workers. Okay, I love your hair. Thank you, Ava. Whites and Europeans don't have as much trauma collectively as minorities do. That is true. And I can say, as a Palestinian, my people have a lot of work to do. The reality is that's why whites are at the top. Boom. I was having that conversation with somebody earlier. That is so true. That is so true. I think if other cultures could heal and do the work on their traumas, they could be able to move up the ladder. That is so true. It's so crazy that you said that, Abodi. I had that conversation with somebody earlier. I had that conversation with somebody earlier. They're at the top also because of how, not saying that they're nice people, better people, or any of that, but they just have I would say, a more polished way of doing things that allows them to move up quicker. That is true. I can agree with that. California is like Mexico. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought California was mainly Persians. No, that's LA. LA is mainly Persians. Because you should have evolved as a human and not care what people from the past think. You're so pretty. Thank you, Aphrodites. What's your real name if you don't mind me asking? Mel. A lot of Latinos are homophobic. Okay. So many minorities have to deal with trauma and are dysregulated. That is true. And, mental health and stuff is not pushed. If you're in a Caribbean family and you tell them you got depression, they're going to say, you ate today, right? They're going to say, did you eat? Yeah. Okay. So what you are depressed about? It's rough. Like, it's rough. I'm telling you. It's like that. It's like that. They're going to tell you you have no reason to feel that way. Like, they are literally going, it's rough. It's a rough culture. Yeah, that's horrible. That's Caribbean culture, baby. I'm part Dominican and I'm Latin culture. There's a lot of racism and assimilation to whiteness. That is true. They wonder how Black people can be successful and have the notion that we're all ghetto bums. Wow. Okay. In Afro Latina, it crazy because some family members stopped talking and treating bad my mom because she's living in the USA from Panama just because they didn't have more. If your primary needs are fed, you can't complain. Yes, that's what it is. I love your content from Brazil. Thank you. Yes. Also, hopefully you would have become way more successful, but it doesn't matter what past people think. Well, I can understand that, but who said it has to be about caring what they think? But yeah, I was just asking, where in the Caribbean are you from? What are you? Trinidadian, Guyanese? I'm the black sheep, so I get it. QUASS. Huh? You have taught me to be more cutthroat, and it's so freeing to do it with finesse. And so I love it. It just makes life easier. They joke about mental health. Yes. In a Caribbean family, if you come downstairs and you say, I'm really sad, they'll say, Why are you sad? And they'll look at each other and then they'll look at you. And you say, I don't know, I'm feeling depressed. Did you eat? Yes. So what are you depressed about? Do you know? And then they're gonna start talking about their past and everything that they went through that you didn't go through. Like I'm telling you, it's really like that. The mental health is really fried in the Caribbean culture. It's bad. It's bad. That's why the narcissism levels are so high because they don't take mental health seriously, right? It's like that's just how it is, and then they just end up popping out a bunch of narcissists. I'm ethnically Nigerian and my nationality is right Irish. Believe I've heard racist stereotypes about both nations. They'll say you have nothing to be sad about. Yes, it's true because they're strong. Like they've had to be strong for so many things. Blessings from Australia. Blessings to you, Alice. Is it possible for women friend groups to not gossip? Yeah, it is. It is. If they're all evolved, if you're an evolved person, what are you gossiping about? Like hearing about other people's life is not tea. Their struggles are not tea, right? I mean, I don't think that would be fun. But you have to remember, regardless of all of this stuff that happens from family, that happens from cultures, you have to stay unbothered, especially with Caribbean families. There's a lot of narcissism in Caribbean culture. They're most likely all like that. They're highly narcissistic. Don't let them ruin your future, right? Like stay focused, be happy, and don't let them drag you down. Don't let them drag you down. So not worth it. It's not. I'm telling you, I had to tell myself that. Like, it's really just because you're going to internalize it and then you're going to start stunting your life, not understanding that they're all like that. Love your channel. Check out the movie Unaliving of a Cheerleader from Lifetime, a great story about jealousy. Thank you. I'll definitely look that up. I want your advice. I've been using a very attractive and bright photo on my resume that they're not going to hire you if you have that on your resume. Okay, if it's a man opening up your resume and you're attractive and bright, he's probably going to already make up his mind to hire you. If it's a woman, they won't even bring you in. And if they bring you in, it's going to be to insult you. So you have to know who you're sending that resume to. If you're sending it to men, if it's men receiving the resume, you look bright and attractive, you're going to get pretty privilege. They're probably going to push you to the top of the line just because they want to see you face to face and you'll get the job. If it's a woman seeing your resume and you look bright and attractive, they're not going to call you or they're going to bring you in to humiliate you. Now, women are going to lie and say that's not true, but it is. So pick and choose wisely. I had a patient that was 84. Whenever she didn't get her way, when we would go run errands, she would be like, but I'm white. What? Are you serious? She would tell you, but she's white. Oh, does she have Alzheimer's? She probably had a little bit of Alzheimer's. So she was saying how she really felt out loud, although it was inappropriate. That's interesting. That is funny. In my culture, they have a cultural problem called tall poppy syndrome. What's tall poppy syndrome? I gave up trying to change older Caribbean women. They like the way that they are. Don't bother. Let them eat their sour fruit. Let them enjoy their mangoes from the tree and let them sit on the crate. You know, Caribbean women like to sit on crates to eat their fruits in the yard. Don't bother them. They're not going to change. Leave them alone. All right. I was reading that kind of emotional coping mechanism from slavery because the children that were slaves were taught not to complain as long as they didn't get sold or whipped. This advice of being unbothered is so, so important and powerful. It's so easy to take it to heart, especially when it's family, but you can't because that's the way they are. Like, I think a lot of times it's not even intentional. Like, that's the culture. Hi, beautiful Mel. I'm grateful that you keep it real. Thank you for helping us. Of course. Yes, tell her no, you are purple. And tell her try that next time. Tell her no, you're purple. And see what she says. If she has Alzheimer's, she's going to say, "Oh yeah, I am purple." Old women with Alzheimer's are so cute. They're so cute. They are literally the cutest things when they have dementia. They're so cute. They don't even know what's happening. And the cutest thing is they say the mean things that we think, they say it out loud. That's if you want pure honesty, go to little kids and go to old people. Actually, if you want pure honesty, go to little kids, go to old people, and find you an old Caribbean woman. Because they're gonna tell you. Okay. No, she didn't have Alzheimer's. She didn't. Oh wow. That's just how they were raised thinking. Yeah, I mean, they were raised to believe certain things that puts them in a more superior place. It happens. I'm so happy and that's why it's the parents' job to deconstruct them from thinking that way and saying, no matter who you meet, no matter what race they are, be kind to them, be respectful to them. It starts in the home. So if they have that superior way of thinking, their parents taught them that. Mel has got me through college as a young woman. Oh, thank you. I feel so ahead in my mindset. You are. You are so inspiring. Not sure who's older, but either way, it's refreshing to see and hear you in your element. Screw the naysayers. Thank you. Tall poppy syndrome is a culture thing where people mock, criticize, or tear down individuals who are successful, talented, or stand out from the crowd. It's the act of cutting down. Oh, okay. Do we have that in Caribbean culture? Yes. 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 Which is why a lot of times on the islands, the most successful people, they live in the mountains. They have like a house on the hill in the mountains. They don't live where all the locals are because it's dangerous. Currently going through a humiliation ritual. What do I do? I just want to give up. Don't give up. You can't do giving up is never an option. That's never an option. What happened? What happened? But giving up is never an option. Thank you, Bianca. White and blacks are shades, not color, and have the most diversity among them. Then Asians and Indians, they both have ancestral trauma. Okay, I think every culture has a little bit of trauma, but the culture that probably has the less trauma is Caucasian culture because their ancestors were kind of in control and in power. They were the ones doing the conquering. So I think their traumas are less than everybody else. So they have more leverage in that way. Everybody else has to work on their traumas in order to increase themselves, right? And then you have to look at what you're around and ask yourself, although this is part of my culture, it doesn't make it right. I had this conversation with I was actually having this conversation with my brother the other day. I said, just because something's a part of your culture, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. There are toxic things that are a part of certain cultures. But how are you going to know that thing about your culture is toxic if you don't go around other cultures to see how they do things? So in Caribbean culture, when you are commenting on other people's children in your family, making them rivals, involving yourself in what that niece is doing, involving yourself in what, that nephew is doing and being a busybody, when you go into, for example, white families, they don't keep up with other people's children. One, they're too busy. Two, it's just not a cultural thing to call your brother in New York's daughter about something that's none of your business. In their culture, that's like invasive. It's considered invasive. But in our culture, it's considered normal. Although it's considered normal in our culture, it doesn't make it right. So, for example, in Caucasian culture, it's normal to believe, hey, I should be here, right? Because I'm this color. In other cultures, it's not seen that way. It's not based on that. So they have to look within themselves and say, although this is normal in my culture, it doesn't make it right. So we have to always keep going within and ask ourselves, does it make it right? Like, for example, I remember this was when I was still in contact with my family. I had a family member call me and they said, um, hey, can you call so and so? I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, because so and so, you didn't see her post that Instagram video of her at the strip club. I'm like, yeah, I think I saw that. I mean, I don't really check Instagram that much, but yeah, I think I saw her story. She's like, oh well, you need to call her. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, you need to call her. You need to. I'm like, but that's not my business. That's not my daughter. That's her mother's job to check her about where she goes. That's not my job. And I told her, I said, again, in Caribbean culture, we normalize not minding our business. Just because it's a part of our culture, it doesn't make it right. So I'm not going to call her because I'm not her mother. And I'm also not a monitoring spirit, meaning I am keeping up with everything she posts so I can get her in trouble with her mom. That's not my ministry. I scroll and I scroll. It's not my business. I'm not involving myself. I said, if you want to call and cause problems, that's you, but I'm not doing it because it has nothing to do with me. So again, just because it's your culture, it doesn't make it right. And if every culture thought this way and pick and choose all the positive things from each culture, we would be better as people all around. The same thing with bullfighting in Spanish culture. That's always been wrong. Oh, I don't like seeing the bulls attacking each other. That's awful. However, someone from my high school who is in the same field as me, dentistry, has passed it through. Passed what through? I hear whispers of my name, and whenever I address it, everyone just smiles and say nothing. Someone from old job dentistry has put something embarrassing about me, and each office I go to, did they send out an alumni group chat? What did they put? Was it like a nude picture or something? Was it something that you can possibly seek legal action against? That's awful. That probably means you're going to be more successful than all of them. Because a super successful person is the person that gets the most brutal humiliation ritual. I agree with American white, but with Balkan Europe counties has trauma because of history. Or maybe they are more hush hush because it makes a family look bad, is what I noticed working around white people. They are a lot about their bloodline. What does that mean? The problem with the tall poppy syndrome is how suffocating it is. The act of cutting down the tallest flower. My dad is Jamaican and my mom is Scottish descent. We experience a lot of trauma from Jamaicans on a whole, like an ancestral tension. These are international organizations where you can mix with other cultures. I joined one, met people from all over. I love stuff like that. Can you drop, what was it, like an app or something? I love things like that where you can meet other cultures. We as people shouldn't constantly compare ourselves to others. It's necessary occasionally, but not always. Trees only thing. Hold on, you guys. Give me a second. I think my food is here. Hold on. I'm back. Sorry about that. That was not my food. I thought it was. Okay. When are they gonna get here? I'm so hungry. Okay. We as a people shouldn't constantly compare ourselves to others. It's necessary occasionally, but not always. Trees don't think if the tree next to it taller or stronger. Trees is part of nature like us. Telling the Caribbean people it's not their business never goes well. I know, but this is someone who wanted to involve me in something that had nothing to do with me. So I told her, I don't care. That's not my business. I don't concern myself with things that are not my business. So I just don't want to. Uh, Eastern and Southern Europe is a whole another story. They also have a lot of work to do. Yes, minorities don't care to make their family look bad. My mom used to tell my auntie whenever I was doing bad in school, you see what I'm saying? How they team up and they bully the child? That's what I'm talking about. Or whatever. White folks don't do that. They keep it hush. They're just not as they're very like culturally, they're not they don't really attach. That's one thing I've noticed about Caucasian culture. And what do you call that culture? Brazilian culture too. They don't really attach to people like that. Like once you don't hear from them, you'll never hear from them. Like that's kind of they don't really attach. So that's why they don't tell other people about their kids doing bad in school because they're not as intimate with their bonds in that way. Then you're not going to know anything that's going on with them. I'm a lead dental assistant for 10 years, decided to leave for growth plus a dentist prejudice. What type of prejudice did you have in there? White have trauma from war, famines, poverty, plagues, being a peasant, hard labor, child labor, being used as test subjects, science, early science research, going up to the Vikings. Interesting. I got to do some research on the Vikings. I've always been fascinated with that. Our history was stolen. We only have so much ancestry to go back on. Other races can pinpoint the exact village. Mel, what is the best way, in your opinion, to stop having or fix limiting beliefs in your mind so one can move forward in life to the fullest potential? I think that you have to see that life, there is no ceiling to it. And ask yourself if the limiting beliefs are stemming from your family. If they are stemming from the way you were raised, then you have to denounce that. I've had a lot of problems with white women. Okay. Mel never says the island she's from, and I don't blame her. The net is a crazy place, and she said on live before that she won't. Not the false food alarm. I just want my plantains. Um, I wonder if a Gen X Caribbean thing, because I miss my grandma. She was built different. I miss my grandma too. She was wonderful. She was so good. I left with a 2-week notice stating I felt uncomfortable. The office manager's attitude switched. Okay. I mean, the cultural thing, it's just you start to notice it, like for me, I've had experience with Caribbeans, all Latin cultures, African cultures, Europeans, Asian. So I kind of in a way kind of know what I'm going to get. I could be proven wrong. I could be proven wrong, but I usually have an ideal of what I'm going to get. I think with Asian culture, they also mind their business. I don't know if they're like that amongst each other, but they're very respectful. Like they're very, 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 very sharp, very respectful. Like, I have never been to an Asian nail salon and got disrespected ever. They're always very kind, very professional, on time, before time, humble, and they're just great. Like it's never anything weird. I never have to worry about my nail appointment being weird or somebody's being weird. Like I never have dealt with that. I've been going to my nail lady I was going to another Vietnamese gentleman before that. He was amazing, but the drive was too much for me. So now I go to another Vietnamese young lady. I've been going to her for a year and a half, and she is chef's kiss. She's absolutely amazing at her job, at everything. She's really, really good. The nail salon is really good. The owner is really good. Everyone's very sharp there, which I really like. It's never something wrong with my nail. Nothing's dirty. It's very clean. What do you do for a living? What does it matter? What I do for a living, my full name, where I'm from, it doesn't matter. Um, would you say your grandmother had the biggest influence in your life? I also love when you talked about her in your old videos. Yeah, I used to talk about her a lot in my old videos, but I stopped because these group of women pick apart everything I say in my videos and they start talking about I don't like it's one thing if you talk about me, but my family's name should never be in your mouth in any chat thread or anything because you don't know them. They're not online, I am. So why are you talking about them? They have nothing to do with this. So when I realized that, I'm like, let me start leaving my family off of my examples and stuff because it's rude. They're not on the internet, so they should not be involved in your toxic coven style threads where everybody's coming in to dogpile, you know, they should not be attached to that type of energy because they're not online. So what do they why are they popping up in this negative energetic group? Why? So that's why I deleted so many of my lives. I just can't be talking about my family too much. Um oh, her biggest influence, I would say her biggest influence was probably she's really good at street smarts. She's very sharp. She taught me to be sharp. So, yeah, that. And she pushed prayer a lot, and being connected to God and all that. Asians take pride in everything they do. I think so too. They work with this precision. They are so precise. I've noticed that about them too. But I've really only experienced them at like nail salon. Well, in high school too, they were really smart. Oh my God. Like they were always like the highest graded, the highest test score is usually going to come from the Asian kid, at least when I was in high school. They would always get like hundreds on all their tests. Very intelligent. Very intelligent. Mel, how do I stop cutting my hair? My sister said women that cut their hair a lot is because they're not happy. You probably got to see a therapist for that, Lilia. I don't know. That sounds like something that you got to maybe see a therapist about. I cut my hair pretty often. I don't know. I feel like when it comes to hair, to keep it healthy, you have to keep cutting it. That's what I feel. Because I feel like your hair, when you brush it and you get to the tip, you should be hearing a little crunch because the tip is so strong of the hair. So I think if you want your hair to flourish, you'll have to keep cutting the ends often. I've always had the exact opposite experience with a nail salon to the point I've stopped going. Really? I always have really good experience with the nail salons here. Being Caribbean is great training for life in general. I think it helps you create a thicker skin and makes you wiser on how to handle the experience. I think so. West African Christians, Nigerians, Ghanaians are some of the final boss level black narcs. Not all, but a lot. I have a story for that, but I'm not going to say anything. I have a story for that, but I'm not going to say anything. Would you say you're an extroverted introvert? No, I'm an introvert. I'm probably extroverted. Um, it depends. I'm probably extroverted sometimes, but I'm an introvert. I'm the same way. I don't even put up pictures of my family online. Yeah, I don't do that either. Like I told my family, put all your pages on private. Do not tag me in anything. Those threads, they will find you. They are very invasive and obsessive. Please do not tag me. Everybody's page must be on private. I already let my family know that. Your thoughts on supporting Black businesses and communities. I don't think there's anything wrong with supporting Black businesses and communities. I think you should support everyone who may need it. I don't see anything wrong with supporting it. Do you? I think it's great because they need like jump starts sometimes. So if you can support them, I think you should, especially if the service is good. If the service is good, absolutely. For me, I think it comes down to the service. I think how people think white think is not how they think, and how blacks think is not how white people think they think. If we thought there wouldn't be any confusion, when black truly support each other more than tearing them down, they would have less to say about everyone else. Can you talk about people attacking you on your beauty? Um, Honestly, I just say that you just get so used to it that it just doesn't bother you anymore because you're so used to it. It's like, people attack my beauty all the time. They say I'm fat. They say I'm bleached. They say I look crazy. They say that my lips have too much filler, even though I have no filler. They say, oh my God, they say terrible things. But the way that I see it is, let me not say the last sentence of that. Do his encouragement, along with support of my grandmother, my mom's mother, is what ultimately propelled me to move out of state, leading me towards becoming a successful educator. That's wonderful. Um, Asians are quiet and clean. No, I'm not annoyed with you at all, Abodi. Not at all. I'm just saying that, I wish I could go into more stories about my family and stuff like that, but people always end up like talking about them in these like group chats and stuff. And I don't think that it's fair to them because they're not online. Right? And a lot of the women are online are not mature enough to not be involving people's families in your mess. It's rude. So I just was like, let me just not really talk about them that much because I don't want them to, Asians are usually very disciplined. Yes. And quiet too. Quiet. I don't know how they are amongst each other. While purchasing a multi-unit income property in Brooklyn that's thriving, I thought my immediate family members would eventually be happy for me, but it only made me a target. Where are they from? Highest test score in my school were from Nigerians. Oh, Nigerians don't play when it comes to education. Nigerian parents ensure that their kids don't wait because it's a massive opportunity for them. So they're very hard on them to not miss opportunities. They're very intelligent. That I'll give them. It might be based on location. I'm in Texas. I agree with the West African thing. I'm West African and they can be overly religious. Nigerians don't come here to play. There you go. That's what I just said. They don't come here to play. They're very serious when they come here. They're like, we made it here. We had an opportunity here. We're not gonna fail a single test. They don't play when it comes to their education and their work. That I can say. If you're getting multiple threats from someone on the internet, shouldn't you be able to take that to the authorities? Well, I would have to track down the IP address, and that's very hard. I would have to track down the IP address and I would have to find an attorney that is willing to seek out who this person is that is sending those emails. I have a feeling it's a YouTuber. I have a feeling it's somebody connected to a YouTuber. I already have a feeling that I know who the person is, but I probably will do my due diligence. And if I find out that the person sending that is connected to a YouTuber, the YouTuber that I think it is, I will definitely I will definitely let you guys know who it is. But I think it's somebody connected to that YouTuber. Because when I searched the IP address myself, I saw the state where that IP address was coming from, right? And the YouTuber online that's obsessed with me, I know she's obsessed with me. She lives in that state. So I'm like, hmm. I wonder. I wouldn't be surprised because she's a narcissist. And yes, it's a black woman. It's always a black woman trying to attack me. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going, but I have a feeling it's her or it's somebody connected to her. I don't think it would be a random person like a random user. I just don't think so because I don't say anything on the internet to prompt that. I don't make dating content. I don't make red pill content. So I don't put out anything that would prompt that. I have a feeling it's her. I have a feeling it's somebody connected to her. She has had a history of trying to put herself in my space. She has had people book calls with me that are friends with her. She thinks I don't know. So she's extremely obsessed with me. And please don't drop any names, please. But when I search the IP address from the threats, I'm like, she lives in that state. So this has to be coming. It's probably coming from her or somebody connected to her, but I'll get to the bottom of it. I'll get to the bottom of it. And if I do get to the bottom of it and I find out it's her, it's gonna get really nasty on my end. So we're going to see. I'll get to the bottom of it. I just haven't really had the time to focus on that because I've been so busy and it's like, okay, like I blocked the person, whatever. But I sometimes I think I'm like, maybe I should pursue that just for fun to see if it's this person. But I think it's her. I think it's that YouTuber. I do, or somebody connected to her. Because she's already planted people in my vicinity already. Like she had one of her friends book a girl chat call with me. She doesn't know that I know that. Right? She's done that. Just high levels of obsession. High levels of obsession. So I'm going to get to the bottom of it when I have the time. I just have to find somebody who would be willing to find out the IP address and the person's number that's connected to that or that was connected to that at that time. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of research. And then when you find a person, me, because I know chicks are weird and they operate in a Kahoot system, I'm not going to only search the person. I'm going to search their family line and their friend too to see if that YouTuber pops up. I think it's her, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Mhm. We will see. Cuz that's all I could think of, like when I'm putting all the puzzle pieces together. You have your friends booking calls with me. I don't understand why. You're planting people in my spaces. You plant people in my private spaces, even in my private spaces on my Patreon, the secret circle info in there that's not really on the internet because they come from like my divine messages. When God's spirit communicates with me, she's posting, and I'm like, you didn't use that verbiage before. So she probably is a member in there or has a friend that's a member. She's always trying to implant people in my space. It's an obsession. Why don't Black women leave other Black women alone? What is the obsession? Have an obsession for the white girl. Leave the Black girl alone. Leave her alone. It's just I've never dealt with something like this, and I do feel like I'm going to have to pursue that, because you can't take things like that lightly, right? But I think it's her. I do. I genuinely do. It's been too many instances. I do think it's her. I do. So we'll see. I'm very intuitive, so I usually kind of know. But I'll have to see. I'll have to find out. Again, I'm very unbothered about it because it's like, paying all those legal fees for stuff like that, it's just like, it's tiresome. But I do feel like, if it's a person that is, false representing themselves, and you're having somebody to send me threats or your friends send me threats or whatever, I'm going to have to say something about that. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know if I'll ever get to that. I really don't care. But I do think that you shouldn't take things like that lightly. So I probably will, you know, I don't know. I just sit with it because a lot of attorneys don't take cases like that because it takes too much work. Coming from somebody who has been dealing with somebody harassing them to the point I had to take it legally, please, for your safety, don't take it lightly. Yeah, I'm gonna see, I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna get on that. I am. Crab in the bucket mentality. Yeah, it's just, I don't understand. I don't understand. Like everybody is online doing their thing. Like why are you bothering a specific person? I don't understand that. I think YouTube should have YouTube court to YouTubers to come far to face with these people that are obsessing and monitoring them. I think so too. If they are found of cyberbullying, yeah. Yeah, jealousy can be definitely dangerous. So I'm going to, but one thing I do like a lot about my supporters is you guys always let me know when something weird is happening. That I can say my supporters are on it. They always let me know about anything weird. But I don't know. I guess you guys are right. I guess I should pursue that, right? It's just going to be a lot of work. It's not even pursuing it. It's finding somebody who would want to even take a case like that because the lawyers don't like wasting their time. So it's like they may be like, ugh. Well, I'll ask my lawyer. He doesn't do like criminal law or anything like that. He's more in charge of like my trademarks and stuff like that, and my classes and having all those trademarked. But I'll ask him if he knows anyone. That's a good question. I'll ask him if he knows anyone. I had to make a police report on a stalker from my channel. I was able to figure out who it was. Was it another YouTuber? Your messages and style are so unique and groundbreaking, but it's also annoying. But it's also annoying that when you put your essence out, stalkers copy, mimic, harass. Yeah, I have to deal with that a lot. It's annoying. I don't let it get to me. But if it ends up being a similar case like DL Whisperer threatening TS Madison's, take them to court. Yeah, if I find out that the person sending it is connected to that YouTuber that I'm talking about, or is that YouTuber that I'm talking about, I will definitely pursue that because it's like, you know, especially, that type of nastiness. I can't understand that. I think it's probably because you speak with conviction and straight to the point, and a lot of women hate that. And the truth cuts like a knife. That's true too. It's hard because with people that do creepy things like that, they know what they're doing is hard to prove unless you're intuitive. I'm very intuitive. Like, I can't even tell you how what I see in my dreams. It's crazy. Like, I remember I had a dream for someone, and in my dream, I saw numbers, right? It was like a 95428. It was like a trail of numbers, right? So I woke up from the dream and I called this person and I said, let me ask you a question. The person that's messing with you spiritually, I have a code. I said, go through your phone. Who has this number in this sequence? And I said, let me tell you the number. Who has this sequence in your phone? Put it in your contact and just start typing it from left to right like this. And the lady's name popped up. I'm like, that's the person that's bothering you. So I'm very like on point with stuff like that. And it's like I give people so much grace, But yeah, I think I know who it is, but and if it is who I think it is, it's going to be very nasty, because when you're trying to threaten someone's family, like, what does my family have to do with anything I do online? But that's the thing. I hate to say it, especially with Black women, the hatred, it's uncontrollable the way that they are towards women that look like them. It's down and dirty. I've never seen anything like that before. It's a lot of envy. So It is what it is. Um, it's a nasty type of envy. It's very different from the envies of others. I can tell you that. It's bad, but with them, it's the worst. I can honestly say that. So, why are you dropping names? And no, that's not who it is. Don't come in here being messy or I'm going to block you. This is not a gossip channel. I'm going to block you. It's not that person. I don't even know who that is. But please don't come in here dropping names. It is spiritually aggressive. It is. It is. Some random old man from another state. I had one weirdo make a fake profile and follow me on Patreon, Facebook, Vimeo, and Instagram. It took them 3 months to give up. Yeah, it's just, I kind of just feel like those type of behaviors, you are taught that. Your mom teaches you to see another Black woman and burn with hatred when she is glowing. Your mom taught you that. My parents didn't teach me to look at other Black women that way. I wasn't taught to hate them or to attack them or you teach your daughter to be disgusting like that. It's learned. Children are like sponges. They soak up what you teach them. They soak up what they see. They soak up what they see. So nowhere in life will anybody come to me and say, your child threatened my daughter, because I wouldn't raise the children that would do things like that. They wouldn't be raised in that way where it's acceptable to threaten someone because you don't like what they say. So a lot of these things, I do blame the parents. I blame the mothers of these type of women. I blame the fathers of those type of men. They were taught those behaviors. They were taught it's okay. They were taught it's right. They were taught. So when you see those things, you have to ask, where's the mother? Because your daughter is this way because you taught her to be that way. And you can lie and say, oh, why? She was just a bad apple. No, she was following your lead. She was following your lead. It's taught. You teach the kid to be nasty like that because they saw you do it to the women that you were around. It's taught. Dreams will tell you the truth. I had a dream. A man I was dating told me to follow him down a cold, dark path. When I told him I wanted to leave, he told me I couldn't because I can't leave hell. I blocked him after that dream. There you go. There you go. You block them right after because you already can see it. The envy from Black women is crazy. It is. I think it's the worst. It's important to not be around the ones with no class because they will attack you. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. I forget they're like that because I live around a lot of white people, but I remember quickly when I go into the city, it's sad. It is. Why do you need to threaten somebody's family and their life because you don't like what they say? Because you don't like the way that they look? Because you don't like that? What? In what world is that normal? Who taught you that that's the way to respond to your negative emotion? Who taught you that? You were taught to regulate your emotions that way because your mom would fly on broomsticks at night. So that's why you think that that behavior is normal because there's a bunch of broomsticks in your house that y'all fly on. That's why you think that behavior is normal. I have never been in an environment where because you have a problem with the way what someone's saying, I've like, how do you even think those kind of thoughts is my question. You deserve to be in a mental asylum. Those thoughts are not normal thoughts. I've never had someone say something that I didn't like. I didn't like what they say. I didn't like what they say. They got to go in a box. Like, who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? And then you wonder why people don't want to don't want to have women all over them like that. That's one of the reasons why the behaviors are disgusting. I've had some dreams and intense feelings recently that I hope is not true. Well, you even if you hope it's not true, you still got to listen to the dream. When envy, jealousy gets so bad, it leads to stalking. Yeah, it's crazy. I think I know who the person is. She's been stalking me since like the last 6 months. It's just nonstop. It's nonstop. It's nonstop, you guys. It's straight narcissism, like all of it. Why don't you just go online, do what you have to do, and get off? Right? Why do you have to like why? Like I have so many mutuals that are huge on TikTok, that are huge on YouTube. They're never subbing me, they're never bothering me. These are women with over 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 followers. They never bother me. They never sub me. All they do is leave hearts under my videos. Like, why are you being like, I don't understand. I've never understood that. Yeah, because they have too much to lose. They don't, I have never had any of my mutuals ever sub me on TikTok. Never. And that's why I followed them because I felt the vibe. I can feel the vibe of when a woman is just on her grown woman is. She's just, you know, doing her thing and that's it. And that's all it should be. It doesn't need to be more than that. You post, you scroll, you leave a heart, this cute, love this, great thoughts, and you move on. It doesn't have to be anything more than that, you know? So yeah, I guess I'll try to find out what to do about that. I do think that it's something that should be taken seriously. I do agree with you guys. It's just it's just the process of it all. It just takes a lot because most people don't like taking cases like that because it's too hard to figure out. But I'll definitely try. But that's just how it is. I don't understand it. I don't understand the reasoning for it. I think that, a lot of people need to go to therapy. They need to go seek help. I remember your work story. Can you do another video on how to survive in corporate America as a Black female? You can't unless you're working for a white man over the age of 55. That's the only way because he's the only one that's going to vouch for you. Not all the time, but that's your best bet. That's your best bet. Do I have a corporate America video on my Bronze Babe? I don't know. I got to upload more of that in there. But that is your best bet on. It's really hard. Like corporate spaces were not built for Black women. They're really hard to survive in because of the dynamics, because of the structure, where you will be penalized for working well and you'll also be penalized for not working well. So it's like, okay, do I work well or do I not work well? If I work really well, they feel intimidated. If I don't work well, they feel like I'm lazy. So how do I win? It's a hard game to win. You feel invisible yet intimidating. Yeah, because they count you out and, you know, it's really like that. Are you guys still talking? And oh wow, I didn't even know you guys were commenting still in the chat. I'm sorry. Mel, you're a triple threat. Unfortunately, that's why they're threatening you. Highly insecure and envious. So because a woman's a triple threat, you have to threaten her existence, someone that you don't know, you don't have their phone number. I don't understand. It doesn't, there's no excuse for that. That's the thing. There's no excuse for that. It doesn't matter. You're always going to encounter. So every person that you meet is a threat. You want to unalive them? Is that how you're going to live your life? That doesn't make sense. And that's not an excuse for the person. Growing up in the hood, but having parents refuse to let me fall into that behavior. I have been called an Oreo. I've always been called an Oreo, and I don't care. Highly evolved people like us don't get triggered by you. We just get inspired. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I'll let you guys know what happens. That's another thing that I have to add on my list to do because I just have so much to do. I want to start a channel, but the stalking thing is making me weary because I constantly get that energy in real life. So then if you get it in real life, you will get it online. I mean, for me, I've always gotten it. I've always dealt with like stalkers since I was a kid. I've always dealt with that. It's not, that's why I guess I'm not taking it I'm not taking it to heart as much because I've always had some weird girl in the background obsessing over me. I've always had that. I've always had that. I remember there was a time I was supposed to go to a friend's dinner in high school. I think I was a junior. And I said hi to her walking in the hall and she ignored me. And I put her to the side. I'm like, why are you ignoring me? Did I do something? And she's like, I just didn't like the fact that you didn't RSVP. And I'm like, RSVP for what? She's like, why didn't you RSVP for my birthday dinner this Sunday when we've been talking about it every day in gym class? Because I knew her from gym class. And I'm like, I didn't know you were having a birthday dinner this Sunday. And she's like, oh, so and so didn't tell you? I'm like, huh? She's like, I gave her all the invites and I told her who to hand the invites to. Now, I didn't know the girl that was handing the invites like that. I know of her, but I didn't know her personally. I know her name because I did have a class with her when I was in elementary school. And usually in my district, elementary school, middle school, high school, sometimes you see the same people. So I knew her name from then. And she's like, she didn't give you the invite. I'm like, I didn't even know that you were having a dinner. Right. And one of our mutual friends got an invite. And when I saw her invite, I thought, okay, maybe you didn't have space or whatever. I didn't take it personal, but I didn't know that there was an invite for me. And she's like, oh, so and so was supposed to give you an invite. So me and her, we both go up to so and so. She's like, okay, wait, come here. So we both go up to so and so, and she tells the girl, did you give Mel her invitation? And the girl's like, oh, well, I thought I did. I did. I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. So I've always dealt with weird stuff like that. It's nothing new. As an adult woman, it's nothing new. But I can say that now that I'm older, I'm less tolerable of it, is what I can say. So I've always dealt with weird things. And then when my friend asked her, why didn't you give Mel her invitation? She said, oh, because I don't like Mel. And then my friend said, but you don't even know her. Like, what did she do to you that you didn't like her? You don't even know her. She's like, oh, well, I just don't like her. And she's like, okay, but why? What happened? What was done? You're not giving a reasoning. How could you not like someone that you don't know? I've always dealt with that energy from women. Always. So now that I'm older, it's more annoying now because it's like, stay out of my energy, stay out of my sphere. Just stay away. But I've always dealt with that. You can ask my parents, they'll tell you. I've always dealt with that. Always. Always dealt with stuff like that. Always. Always dealt with stuff like that. Yeah, there's no excuse. Now, hear this, Kevin. A 4-year-old girl lives next door to me, and she has the same first name as me. And if she, okay, let me go ahead and get this crazy person out of here. That's what I'm saying. It's like so many crazy people on the internet. Triple or not, that type of behavior is horrifying and it's disgusting. It is. I love when they count me out, build something better. Oh my God, I forgot about that term. Yeah, they stay calling me that. In Oreo, they're jealous and insecure. You're gorgeous. Thank you. With an amazing personality and you're smart. Thank you. Yeah, we get that, but that's literally how a majority of humans move. If you're attractive, intelligent, wise, they will target and dehumanize you. Do you confront or ignore the weirdness? It depends. Like if the person's like not in your circle, I wouldn't really care about how they feel because they're not a part of your life. But if they're like making threats and stuff like that, then that's where you have to pursue. Why do you think most women don't want to do the deep inner work to evolve? Because the inner work does not guarantee a man. If the inner work guaranteed a man to love them, they would do it. The inner work doesn't guarantee that, so they don't feel like it's worth it. But they will do the work necessary to get a man. So they're kind of very reliant on the male. So it doesn't guarantee that. That's why they don't do it. Thank you, Jada. It's a good thing you didn't take that personally. What does she mean she doesn't like you? It's not her party. I don't know. My friend was just as confused as you were. She was like, I don't understand. I don't understand. So those things are just a part of my life experience. Now that I'm older, I don't really care. Like, I think my life is so full that I don't really think about things like that. And I'm not around people. And again, this was a family friend. She was actually, she was Bahamian. It's like I see this behavior a lot in our community. It's pure narcissism. It's nasty. It's taught and it needs to be talked about so it can stop. Why are you raising your children to do things like that? It's a question for the parent. Why are you raising your daughter to think that it's okay to do things like that? That's a question for her mother. And then when you ask the moms, they start gaslighting and saying, oh, no, 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 ma'am, don't start backpedaling. Children are sponges, they soak in the behavior that they are raised around. That's why when you see women and men with good manners, most likely the person that raised them taught them etiquette. That's why when I meet young boys and young girls with manners, I say, wow, your mom did a good job. Your dad did a good job. Because I know it was taught to them by somebody that raised them and they soaked up that behavior from that person. And it doesn't have to, yeah, it doesn't guarantee a man. That's why they don't do it. If it guaranteed a man, they would. So most women are men centered. Is that biological or cultural? I think it can be both. I think it could be both. Um, okay, still working. Guys, if anyone is from Italy or Malta, how is it living there? Is anybody from Italy here? Can tell us how it is? Good evening, Mel. Some of the obsession could be due to a female being actually attracted to you as well. I don't know. I think it still doesn't mean that you can send stuff like that. Again, a lot of this stuff, apps, I get it. I was raised in the suburbs and my peers mistreated me for being proper. Yeah, I was raised in the suburbs too. So being proper, having etiquette, not attacking people just because you don't like them. I wasn't raised in environments where that type of stuff was acceptable. Absolutely. This is why I'm doing all of my shadow work now before I have children. Proper child rearing is important. It is. Because think about it. There are some kids who will never, for example, spit in another kid's face. The kids that spit in another kid's face, that behavior stems from the way that they're being trained at home. It's something wrong with what they're being shown. So, how a person responds to feeling triggered by another person is the way their parents respond to triggers. So, there are women who are very composed, meaning they are not going to attack, socially destroy reputation. They're not going to do that. That's how I know, oh, she was raised, what she was taking in as a child was very healthy. That's why she doesn't respond that way as an adult woman, right? But when you see an adult person is irrational, aggressive, slanderous, that goes back to the parent. It does. That's why every time Ayan Levizant would have her episodes, the mother and father had to be there. And if a mother and father goes on Ayanla's show, she's going to hold you accountable. She's going to say, you made your daughter that way. And then the mom start crying. No, 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 no. Don't start crying. Don't start crying. It's true. Who did she learn that from? Who did she learn to threaten someone just because you don't like them from? She got it from you. Your son that beats women got it from his dad. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's true. I've noticed that at this age. A lot of it is upbringing related. It's the way the child was brought up. It's the instructions that the parent gave the child. It's the moral skills. There are some kids, they will never steal. like ever. Like you could literally leave $100 bill in front of the 5-year-olds and they won't take it. They'll just say, "What's this? Did you leave this? You left your money here." Oh, that 5-year-old is being raised well. She didn't take the money, she didn't put it in her pocket. She brought it right back to me because her parents are teaching her, you don't take what's not yours. But then there's going to be a 5-year-old that will take the $5 and put it in her pocket. Why does a 5-year-old child, why are they already stealing? I had a little cousin one time that I was watching years ago, and she literally, I was like, "Where's your homework and stuff? Like, where's your homework?" She's like, "Oh, I did it. I did it." I'm like, "Oh, you did your homework?" She's like, "I did it." I said, "Okay." When I was cleaning up, she stuffed her homework under the couch and it wasn't done. It was like 3 pages. And when I walked away, she didn't see me looking at her from the corner. She was trying to stuff it in deeper under the couch. And then when I came back out, I said, where's your homework? You sure you did it? She's like, "Oh, it's all done, all done." I told her mom, she is going to be a handful. Anyways, that's your child. But that again, where is she seeing lying from? Who is showing her? Because kids are sponges. Who is she learning how to lie from? Right? If your son thinks it's okay to punch a girl in the face, who did he learn that from? That it's okay to put his hands on women. It's learned from somewhere. You teach her. Anytime I see a little girl who's a certain way, I say, your mom, her mama taught her to be that turned with other women. It's taught. When I was in high school, my principal would never call my parents. About what? About what? I was raised to mind my damn business. I was raised to stay out of people's faces. I was raised, you don't attack someone just because you don't like them. You don't put your hands on someone just because you think they're prettier than you. You don't steal someone's homework because you lost yours. I wasn't raised that way. So therefore, outside of talking, yes, I did get written up for talking. Sometimes my teacher would have to put my desk in the middle of the hallway because I like to talk to my friends in class. So yes, we wouldn't stop talking. But outside of that, too much talkative is really the only thing that would be on my report card was too talkative or too much talking too much. Right? Because I usually would have a friend in a class and I would sit next to the friend and we would just keep talking and talking and talk. So that's the farthest it would go. Right? So again, it's all about, for example, if I would go to someone's home, I'm not the 5-year-old that's going to open up your fridge. Why? Because in the car, my grandma would say, "Listen, we're going into these people's house. You sit your butt on that couch, and you don't get up." That's what my grandma would tell me before we get in the house. You sit your butt on that couch. You shut your mouths when adults are talking, and you don't get up. That's the home training I received. So when I walk into someone's home, I sit down where they tell me to sit. I'm not opening doors. I'm not opening their guest room door. You know how some kids will come to your house and they're like 8 years old, but they're like all over the place. And it's like again, it's home training. There's no home training. That's where it stems from. Yeah, my report card always says too talkative. It was real bad. I could not stop talking. They would put me in the hallway. I remember my French teacher, I'll never forget him. He put me in the hallway, y'all. I had to sit in that hallway for 1 week. Monday through Friday, I would come in and he would say, "Mel, your desk is already in the hallway." I'd say, "Okay." And I would sit in the hallway all by myself. for 50 minutes because I couldn't stop talking. And there was another class where me and my crush were in that class, and he would sit right behind me, and we just would not stop talking and giggling, talking, giggling, laughing, cracking jokes, making jokes. Oh, he put us both out. He put us both out. And he put my crush all the way in the front of the hallway with the desk, put me all the way in the back of the hallway. And that lasted for like 2 weeks. Yeah. Did my teachers ever be mean to me? Actually, I've never really had mean teachers. Even the women who were my teachers were really nice. I never had mean teachers. I can honestly say that. My teachers were very sweet, very, very kind. I never had mean teachers. And I went to the type of school where you can't be rude to the students. The parents that are on the board of those schools are very important people in the county. Like, you can't be rude to students. No. So you can be kind, and you can reprimand the student in a way, but you can't be rude. No, they're not allowed to do that. Yeah, I was in the hallway. Yeah. I would stay in the hallway all the time. It was so sad. And I would say, "Can I please come inside?" I would say, "Please." He would say, "No, you talk too much. You sit outside." I'm like, "Please, just give me a chance. Just give me a chance." And he would say, "Mel, that pretty smile's not going to work. Get in the hallway." So that's what happened to me. I just stopped being friends with a lady that think it's okay for her men to hit women. She also thinks it's okay to forgive pedo if it's their past. Who was he hitting? Was that a black teacher? I had black teachers and white teachers. I had all colors of teachers, and they were all great. They were all great. Yes, I was talkative too, as Leos were naturally popular, very popular, very popular, very, very popular everywhere. Yes, always known. That is true. That is so true. What are your thoughts on mean teachers? I don't really have thoughts on mean teachers because I've never had a mean teacher. Like, if the teacher was mean, they were mean to everybody. But I never had a teacher that was like mean specifically to me. No. I think some teachers, it's not necessarily that they're mean, they have different teaching styles. Meaning, I had this one teacher, he was my biology teacher, it was for AP Bio. This guy did not do multiple choice tests. All his tests were word bank. Like, you literally had to know the information. And when he would get on the board and he would grab his red marker, would like start scribbling and all this stuff, and we would have to take notes and notes and notes and notes and notes and notes. And you had to make sure you took the right notes. For me, I used to record him. I used to turn on my recorder and I used to record him, write down all the notes, and then go home and go over the recording again to make sure I didn't miss anything. And it was like, it would come up to like 100 flashcards. And when you took the test, it is not multiple choice. It's all word bank. So you had to, oh my God, I remember when I was in that class, I literally started losing hair. It was hard. That class was hard. It was hard, 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 hard. It was a very difficult class. Cheating, none of that stuff works in that class. It was a very difficult class. He didn't play any games. It was like this short Jewish guy. He had like a beer belly, very skinny arms, very smart. And at the end of his class, at the end of the semester or the school year, I thanked him. And I told him, when I took your class, I was so scared, but your class helped me unlock the fact that I can do it. And I appreciate you for forcing us to use our brains in a different way. I told him thank you. And then he was nice enough to write me a recommendation letter. I told him thank you. Thank you, because you just proved to me and all the other students that we don't need multiple choice and our brains are capable. And I just want to thank you for that. I thank you for allowing me to discover that my brain can do it, and I admire that about him. You always want to admire people that make you go deeper and make you evolve higher. A lot of times you think that those people hate you, But in reality, they really like you and they're trying to get you to discover new parts of who you are, you know? So it was just, I told him, thank you. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. I've always loved my teachers. Always. Even the ones that would put me in the hallway. Even the ones that would put me in the hallway. I always liked them. Oh, it was AP Bio. Yeah. Have I ever had like a wild teacher? Um, I have, but I can't really remember. Um, no, my teachers were never mean to me. Never. They were all so fun and nice. But then again, in that school, in that district, you had to be because their salaries were much higher because of the district it was in. So they were if you were a teacher and you got a job at that school, you're making like close to the six-figure range as a teacher. So because of the parents, and the parents were very successful people of the students, so they would spend a lot of money. Share your teacher memory. I have a few, but I don't remember. No, I'm sure, Jada, you're not hard on them at all. I think the teachers that look like they're hard on you are the teachers that are helping you discover parts of yourself that you did not even know existed. Like, I remember when I first got into his class, I'm like, why would this guy do this to us? This is the only teacher in this school that doesn't give multiple choice. And I remember before I got my class schedule, people were like, you better pray you don't have him. You better pray you don't have him. Because everybody already knew about him. But when I saw him on my schedule, I'm like, damn. And even if you try to switch, the counselors won't let you because they know a lot of people purposefully try to switch out of his class because he doesn't give multiple choice. So I remember the first day in his class, I remember the first day walking in, he didn't say hi to anybody. He just came in. He opened up his marker. He just came in. He threw his paper on the table. He just came in. He just started writing. Like, he didn't say anything. It was so weird. He didn't say anything to anyone. He came in. He just started writing, and we were all kind of just looking at each other like, is he gonna say something? There was no seating charts. You sit whatever you want. He said, I don't care where you guys sit. I don't waste my time on this. On stuff like that. I need to make sure you guys pass the class. I don't care where you sit. Sit wherever you want. Sit on the floor if you want. Sit at my desk if you want. I don't care. You need to know the information. And I'm like, oh, he's snazzy. He is snazzy. That's what I'm talking about. Give me something different, right? I've always loved people like that. Give me something different. Just be yourself, you know? And then well, I remember when we came in, we sat down, we were all looking at each other. He just started writing on the board. Like, literally, he just drew a big cell, right? And we're like, what is he doing? Like, is he about to show us the seating chart? And we were just standing there. None of us had our pens or papers or anything out because he didn't tell us anything. He turned around, he looked at us, he's like, are you writing this? This is going to be on your test in 2 weeks. It was so crazy. He's like, are you gonna just sit there and look at me? This is gonna be on your test in 2 weeks. And I don't give multiple choice. And don't ask me for it. And I'm like, yo, this is a grumpy old man. Like, he had a hunchback. He was grumpy as hell. But I realized he was a really sweet guy that was actually very freaking smart. And he wanted us to see that we were smart too. Right? So at the end of the course, I literally thanked him. And he's like, what are you thanking me for? I'm like, for unlocking a new dimension in my brain. I thought I was going to fail this class. I told him I thought I was going to fail your class. Like, I literally always felt like I was going to throw up coming to your class because I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. My brain has never worked that way before. My brain always had a crutch. Multiple choice is a crutch, right? Because you can guess and get the answer. He didn't allow that. So we had to know it. And I'm like, that's powerful. Right. And I admire people like that. And I think that that's kind of what I try to do with you guys. I don't know why I get so much hate for it. I'm just trying to get you to see things from a different perspective, a perspective that forces you to change. I was having this conversation with a girl chatter a couple days ago, and I was telling her, I said, "Do we do we have to choose to evolve?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Can we be forced to evolve?" She's like, "Ugh, I don't know." I'm like, "We can be forced to evolve too." In that situation with that teacher, I was forced to evolve. If I had a choice, I was going to choose the multiple choice teacher. But in that scenario, I didn't have a choice. So I was forced to evolve the way I approach studying. I saw you say somewhere that doing this lifetime once was enough and would never want to go through this life a second time. Get me to heaven. Makes me laugh. I feel the same. Oh, yeah, never again. I just want to sit on my father's lap. No, thank you. Not doing this again. Mm-mm. I told God, no, 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 no. Please, please, please. Let me just sit on your lap and you can tell me stories. Please, I don't want to go back down there. That's literally how I feel. It's terrible. Just the whole experience. It's like, oh no, it's just too much work. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It is. You got to heal and you got to try to make money. Then you got to find love. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We can't lie and say that it's not. You still here, mommy? Damn. Much respect, beautiful and powerful. Y'all are This is funny. I've never been called mommy by someone before. That's funny. Reincarnation? Oh, no, no, no. I don't believe in reincarnation, but if I did, I've just no, 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 no. It's like the minute you wake up again in your second life and you see the earth coming close to you, you're like, no, no, and you start you start to run. You start to run the opposite direction the minute the earth starts to get closer because you're like, oh hell no, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going back down there. Hell no. Oh no. 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 Mm-mm. No. The minute you start to see the green and the blue on the planet, you're like, oh no, take me to Mercury or something. No way. No way. Or make me an earth angel or something. But I'm not going down there again. I already did it one time and I'm not going to do it again. Right? I've had multiple lives and this is my last reincarnation. I'm telling you. After that, I'm ascending in one with God in paradise. That's it. Yes, I agree. But that's the thing. You got to give your human experience all that you've got. It is hard. It's not going to be easy because you're fighting two dimensions. You're fighting the physical and then you're fighting the spiritual on top of the physical. And it's like, oh my God, it's like physical here and then spiritual up there. And it's like two battles going on simultaneously. So it takes a lot of discipline to be able to do it. Yeah. It's a lot of discipline with everything. Like, all right, you got your money together, great. You have a job, great. You're studying, great. Are you praying? Are you protecting yourself? Are you covering yourself? Are you affirming yourself? Are you going to therapy? It's like it's a layer after it's so many layers to the human experience. That's what makes it so challenging because it's everything. You can't hyper focus on this and ignore that. It's like you have to spread it out and it takes a lot of undeniable discipline. Raised Christian, but starting to believe the folks that don't do it right get reincarnated. Also, what are your thoughts on Gnosticism, forgotten biblical texts? I don't know. I've never gotten into that. I have no idea. I would be brown by then, lol, not green or blue. Um, Anyways, you guys, I have to get off. Oh my God, I've been on here for almost 3 hours. Oh my God. That's a long time. This is the longest live I've done in a long time. My back is kind of hurting. My gosh. Whew. Okay, guys. I love you guys. I'm getting off. I'll come back on tomorrow. Probably a little earlier, though. I was a little late today because I had a lot to do. But I will be back tomorrow. In closing, don't forget to follow the Facebook page. Don't forget to follow the Instagram page. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok. I am on TikTok as well. Chosen One Throne Rooms Masterclass is this Sunday. Be there or be square. We're going to have a good time. And yes, you will have the opportunity to come on camera or not. and ask questions just with your vocals. It's gonna be it's our classes are the classes are always fun. So I'll see you guys on that. And then Shadows is on the 24th. What else? The Facebook group, make sure you guys join that. The Telegram group, make sure you guys join that. I am working on my Amazon list. I know I've thought I was supposed to do this since who's your hairstylist? Myself. So the Amazon list, I'm working on it. I'll give you guys access to it. I'm just trying to add a bunch of things to the list for you guys, and that takes a long time because I use so many different things. So I'm working on that. This was fun. I feel like I was on FaceTime with a friend. Ah, yes. Bye, guys. Don't forget to pray tonight, okay?